Welcome to episode 231 of the Noclip Crewcast podcast. Hello, friends. We're here. Summer Games Fest has started. We're in Jeff Keighley's Summer of Games. Frank Howley is elated about it. How are you feeling? The beautiful rays of Keighley are shining upon you, Frank.
It's as if Keighley is the sun and gaming are the plants, and we have been refueled for the next millennium, maybe even multiple. I don't know what's trillennium, what's beyond that, but there's so many games that I think Earth will be okay for a few more years.
Okay, Jesse Gracia is photosynthesizing so much that his camera has exploded.
It's the summer of gaming, and let's just say, using a DSLR to film a podcast, turns out, they get hot fast. So I'm going to leave this for a second. I'll be in a void for a little bit.
We won't see Jesse until fall hits Canada.
That's right.
So just remember what he looked like. Jeremy Jane, how are you feeling? How are the video game chlorophyll? How is it pumping through your brains?
Oh, it's
pumping. Veins.
Yeah. It's pumping through my brains. It's pumping through my veins. I watched a lot of Summer Games Fest coverage. Game Fest cover. You know, they call it Summer Game Fest because there was only one game in all 17 hours of showcase. That's a little joke.
Wow. Shots fired.
No,
Splitgate 2.
I
We're
saw
gonna make Summer Games Fest great again. Let's go.
I saw at least 3 games the entire 4 days that looked interesting to me. Maybe 4 to 5. We'll see.
Hey, you know what? Let's try something dangerous. Jesse, do you want to try do it? Do you want to try and reset the camera? We're going to do it midstream. We're going to see if it breaks everything, or because this has happened a few times, and the people want to see your beautiful face. So
that is true. I would much rather be on than off.
Yeah, do your thing. Do your thing.
Let's see.
Do your thing. While you're doing your thing, we don't need a commentary. It's all good.
Okay.
You just do your thing.
You got it.
While we're doing that, though, shout out to all of our incredible Battle Pass holders as Jesse pops back for now. Lovepreet, Ute, Dwayne the Rock Lobster, Anthony Thomas, Nico Passeteri, It's a me, Ferrario, Pappy Lappy, Senator Armstrong, apparently I pronounced this well last week, but I forget how I did it. Redrag.
I think it was Redredge. I think.
Love that song. Harry Flanagan, Juice, Arno, Matt Pearson, James Brown, Mark Rojas, Tucker Morgan, David McGarry, Goddison, Sven Huster, Pez, John Akers, Ewan Nate, Tim Robinson, Forrest Pruitt, Jonathan Cremming, Eric Hamilton Schneider, Christoph Fetui, Cameron Laird, Zachary Snader, Alex Goucher, George Sakotis, Jacob Godserve, Entheogen, James Medge, Tohir Tiliev, and Ryson. Thank you all so much, and everyone over at patreon.com/noclip for paying for all the gas that I put in my car so I could drive down to Los Angeles, participate in some small writing, and enjoy a few video games while I was there. So myself and Frank were at Summer Games Fest last week. Also, Steam Next Fest is happening, so I hope you've got 4 hours, folks, because there's a lot of stuff to get through here. First of all, Frank, how did you enjoy your time in the northern part of Southern California? You, of course, drove up so we could hang out and have some fun at Summer Games Fest. Did you see any rides? I didn't see any rides. There was no...
No, I felt so naive to everything because I drove home Sunday, 4 or 5 p.m. when things were escalating. And I got home and I even had a friend message me from the event being like, I'm glad you got home safe. And I'm like, yeah. And then I checked and I was like, oh, yeah. Everything was happening north of where the event was being held.
Well, so where was it? Because downtown LA is not very big.
Yeah.
We were driving around for the entire 3 days. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear a cop car. I think maybe it's not that big. I think maybe it's a couple hundred people, right? All the videos I've seen is I know the National Guard has been brought, all this stupid shit's happening, but I don't think it was that big, right?
I think I haven't even researched or know too much of it. I think where we were in LA, it was the opposite corner of downtown LA where people were assembling. So it's and you had also driven up before that stuff was happening, and like I had a friend in downtown LA that was at a bar and they had to be locked inside the bar because protests were happening right outside.
All right.
So it only got the summer of games was not affected primarily by it, but at the eve of games could be dangerous.
Okay. Could be dangerous.
Yeah, no, but where we were, everything was fine. Although I did notice it was my friend and I were walking out of Summer Games Fest, and the guys were like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to start." They were like talking about they're gonna have to enhance security, and we're like, we didn't know what they meant. I thought they thought we were like we had snuck into the convention because like my friend and I don't look like we're just like we're just like. I don't know.
Frank, you look like gamers. You look like
yeah. We look like pure gamers. Like I'm not wearing business shirts this convention. Come on. Like I got my wrestling graphic tees on, and I was like, well, okay, sure. And then coming home and seeing Twitter, I was like, oh my. Also, there was like so little traffic coming down, so it was like something.
Yeah, there was all weekend. It was easy breezy. I mean, the security they need for Summer Games Fest, for Play Days at least, is because it happens basically in Skid Row. So like they have a car park there, the security, because you would not want a street park within 5 blocks of where they put this thing on. It is like it is deep in the some of the grimmest parts of downtown LA for sure. Yeah, we had a fun weekend, didn't we? It was good fun. We went to the Giant Bomb couch stuff on Saturday night. Went to Play Days. Frank, you're working on a video that's going to sort of break down what you did, but tell the folks at home kind of what you did, because we went to different events. We divided and conquered a little bit.
Yeah, I did 3 days at Summer Games Fest. I don't know. It's day one, maybe it's day 0, but day 1 is the actual Jeff Keighley presentation at the YouTube Theater in LA. Which is like a little less fun being inside, because like the fun of watching those presentations is being online, riffing with friends or checking Twitter and stuff and things like that. But yeah, I was there at the theater for the presentation. It was cool seeing Hideo Kojima, Mads Mikkelsen screaming at Jeff Keighley, just being there for the audience to react to things. After IOI Interactive had a showcase for their slate of games, including 007 First Light. Mads Mikkelsen was also there to present. His character from Casino Royale they have a month-long special target in Hitman, so they did a Casino Royale level. And then there was a short presentation of MindsEye. The game was not playable at the event.
It's out today, Frank, and according to Steam, you can buy it for either $59.99 or $79.99, but they don't give you details on why you'd want to spend an extra $20. So
because you love MindsEye, you're ready for the game. Yeah. You're supporting the developers.
Listen, you have to go into your MindsEye and you have to picture what the additional $20 will garner.
Well, you get to make the additional content actually by paying the $20.
That's actually has a user-generated content feature that is entirely within your mind.
Right.
Every time you say MindsEye goes up $20, according to Phil Salvador. It's we'll have to see. I haven't played MindsEye yet. I haven't bought MindsEye yet. I don't know if I will. Jesse's MindsEye is just shut off again because his camera's gone. We're just gonna you're just too hot, bro. You're just too hot. MindsEye. That whole presentation, the IO Interactive one, seems like it was a bit of a damp squib, Frank. You said you were happy to see Mads Mikkelsen in person, but like you said, they didn't show any gameplay of No, they showed gameplay of MindsEye, didn't they? But it wasn't playable.
Yeah. But no gameplay of 007. I thought like, we get exclusive stuff. Like everyone's very excited on the project, but it was just kind of like, maybe I feel like next year would probably be the bigger one. But it was still cool to go. Like I feel like you said this, but a lot of people, it feels like it's getting closer to E3, where there's the Keighley thing, but then there's a lot of these independent events, and also like PR people were like, we can shuttle you around. I was just driving my car everywhere, but it was like, okay, like. It seems like it's getting close to what it was like. I mean, it's not the massive thing, but there's lots of stuff going on where it's like, oh my god, which thing do I pick?
Frank, do me a favor. You're so excitable that you're a little bit close to your mic. Can you push it away? It's actually the plosives you're hitting them. Exactly. Don't go. Sorry. Do your best Tay-Zonde impression for the rest of this one.
Okay.
So the sorry, Jesse, you'll have to probably tweak the levels on this.
That's all right.
While you were at that, I was at the Mix. So the Mix had their indie thing on, which was in a great spot. It was like right around it was at LA Live, so right around the corner from the LA Convention Center where E3 historically was on. It was on a rooftop sort of bar area where you could see over to the Hotel Figueroa, and they did have a video game banner up on the 3 side, the famous 3 parts of that hotel. where they had like GTA for years and loads of other ones. What was it? It was Magic the Gathering X Final Fantasy?
Yeah, there's a big collaboration out with Final Fantasy and Magic the Gathering. And in the Summer Games Fest swag bags, they actually gave away a starter kit for Magic the Gathering. So I actually bought a trading card binder because I have so many friends that are into Magic the Gathering. It's just been one of those like just like swatting a fly. Like I don't care. But now I'm like, okay, the art on these cards are pretty cool.
What Final Fantasy cards you get? I got to know.
Oh my God, you want to see? Well,
Yeah,
Bust
go
them
grab
out.
them. Go grab them.
This is the visual segment, but we'll make sure to describe them in
Okay, I'll
excruciating
describe it.
detail.
So on Amazon, I got like a $10 trading card binder. The first page are all my Japanese wrestling cards.
Oh, terrific.
The best
The
Final
second
Fantasy
page
characters.
are all my Joshi cards. But then we have let's see. So one Magic the Gathering card is Suplex. It's from Final Fantasy VI. Like they have like legit references on all these. So it's just Suplex where you're getting ready to suplex a train. Gigantode. There's like Shinra not shoulders, soldiers. So it's not. It's like from the entire series, and it's like, oh, this is actually really really cool.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I have not opened the like 100 card booster pack because I like the packaging so much where I kind of don't want to mess it up.
Nice.
But there's like Final Fantasy 12 characters, this like Scorpion Sentinel from Final Fantasy 7. So it's like a magic
art.
pot.
Sick art.
Right? It's so sick. So I'm like, okay, I get it.
That's cool.
But,
I'd be hyped
haven't
if I got
dove
that
into it
too.
yet.
But I don't care about Magic at all, but I love Final Fantasy. And I like little pictures of things.
They got your back then. I like the idea of Frank turning up to a Final Fantasy thing or Magic the Gathering event and only playing Final Fantasy cards. That'd be pretty cool. I played a couple of games at the mix that were good fun. Ones that stood out to me. Death Howl has been, I think, at a bunch of different things. This is where I usually look at Jesse to see if he was nodding. Do you know this?
I am. I started nodding and I was like, I can't see.
Yeah,
I've seen a little bit of that. Yeah, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, cool, very cool. It's hard to explain. I'm gonna have a video up in the next couple of days, kind of detailing some of the highlights that I came away from both the mix and SGF. But it's basically like a isometric, very gorgeous art, very evocative. You play as like a cave woman who's lost a child, but it's done in like a very sort of gothic horror style look to it. Looks very cool, yeah, it's that one stood out to me. Prison of Husks is the most Jeremy Jane-ass game I've ever seen. It is a Soulsborne game that looks like a cross between Ico and like Final Fantasy or something. Not Final Fantasy. Silent Hill. And the last Caretaker was one that I also enjoyed from that, which was a for kind of like Subnautica style thing, but you're a robot who's on Earth after all the humans have left, and they still use Earth to make babies. But like the oceans, it's just a water planet now because all the ice caps melted. So you're going from like oil rig to oil, well, not oil rig, but like sort of rig that's making has all these babies being made on it to other ones. You like wake up 100 years after the last robot and you're basically trying to figure out what went wrong. But
What year does it take place in? It sounds like it would be 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Very systemic, very physicsy. I just loved the feel of it. It was a pretty good time. Yeah. So that's what we did. And then the next day, Frank, it was for the two of us, it was just Summer Games Fest Saturday, Summer Games Fest Sunday, like at Play Days, which is where Jeff Keighley's sort of big it's basically for media. It's like a big media thing to get as many media in as possible to play as many demos as possible. What stood out to you, Frank, on those 2 days? Because obviously I did a bunch of stuff with you. We should get through some of it. And obviously then you went on Sunday and I was driving home yesterday or on Sunday.
Yeah, I my like absolute favorite of the show was everything I saw at Capcom. Like I'm very much self-professed. Like I love Capcom, but yeah, we got to see exclusive Resident Evil 9 gameplay, which was like even the Resident Evil 9 trailer. Like I think I told everyone like I sat through the whole YouTube theater space presentation, and then Resident Evil 9 was the last trailer. I forgot everything that came before because it was like, yep, I'm ready, and it comes out in February. So Resident Evil 9 looked amazing. The craziest thing is like it's in line with this new trilogy of 7, Village, and this new one, 9, where it's all the first-person games, like kind of more atmospheric, slower horror. And then at the end of the gameplay demo, they reveal that you can shift to third person at any time. So it's like, and I always like playing stuff in third person, but yeah, it looks in line. The whole like conceit of this game is it takes place after Raccoon City's been blown up and you're going back to Raccoon City. So we finally get like a post-apocalyptic Resident Evil game, which I feel like, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, very excited for that. We got to see Onimusha presentation. The biggest thing that no one's mentioned is that Toshiro Mifune is like the celebrity in this game. Kurosawa's muse that was in all the old samurai films. And then yeah, we got to see we got to play hands-on Pragmata, which I think is the sleeper hit of the show. Which very much feels like like a 360 era weird Capcom game. Kind of like Dead Rising, kind of like Lost Planet, but yeah, you're like a spaceman with a cyborg girl on your back doing hacking and shooting robots and like jumping around, platforming. I know Danny really liked it too.
Yeah, it was so Pragmata, like you said, it sort of has the visual vibe and kind of the weight of the Lost Planet games a bit. You are playing it takes place in like some sort of space base, I think. You are a guy in a suit. Jeremy, like a spacesuit. Jeremy made a very good connection that it quite looks like the Homo Ludens logo that Kojima Productions uses. It's just
and
like
the,
a guy
the
in a big
statue
space.
they have in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's their logo as well. It's the,
yeah, no,
the
I'm
head
saying,
is
but
the
like
logo, yeah.
the full suit is like a very detailed sort of like looks like a terrestrial spacesuit that looks quite similar to the astronaut.
Yeah, and you play as you play as a guy who's got a bunch of guns. And basically the hook of this game is that there is a small, like, I don't know, 6-7-year-old girl who climbs up on your back. She has long blonde hair and wears like a blue like jacket, and she is able to hack the enemies, the robots that are attacking you, so that their shields drop. So if you're firing on these robots when their shields are up, you are doing fuck all damage. So you basically have to use her to hack them. But the way they do it is really cool. It happens in real time. So you are aiming at the robot coming towards you. And when you do, a sort of little puzzle box mini game appears on the side of the screen, kind of like Pipe Dreams, the old puzzle game. You may remember there's a version of it that sort of existed in BioShock where you're like rotating pipes and things like that. It's kind of like that. It's a grid, and you basically have a place you start and a place you end. And there are some of the things in the grid you're talking like a 5x5 or a 4x4 grid. Depends, actually, changes based on the enemy. And then sometimes in there are some things that if you go over them will do extra damage once you do the hack. And then once you are hitting the face buttons, so you're not doing it on the D-pad, you're using the face buttons to do this like mini game while you're trying to keep the thing in your sights with like L2 or whatever. And then once you do it, it gets hacked, and then you're right trigger to shoot the robot. And it's such a fun feeling. It's like immediately you're like, oh, this is great. This is like a fun way to do shooting. They also sort of add to the combat chess with the type of weapons that you have. So one of the weapons is just a straight little pistol that is like pretty accurate. Another one is a bit of a spread one. They have another one which creates like sort of like shield bubbles that the enemies get stuck in. So sometimes you're like, this demo is very much the opening 20 minutes of the game. So it's like teaching you how everything works. But like by the end of it, I was getting in situations where there was like 3 enemies coming at me, and I was using like the bubble on one of them to basically stop him in stasis for a couple of seconds while I hack another one. And while I'm hacking that one, I'm like trying to stay away from a flying one that's there. So you can tell that like the thing I was hoping to see, they kicked us out right after like a big boss fight was about to happen, right, Frank? There was like a big mech that came down. And what I was hoping to see was there's this great moment in Typing of the Dead where you meet your first boss. And instead of just having like individual words come up that you have to hit in your keyboard, it comes up like Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. It's like this moment of like, oh, there's like a huge sentence I have to type in this time instead of just individual words. And I was wondering like, oh, I bet when you get to the big boss fights, the actual hacking puzzle thing gets even bigger. Like I'm hoping that happens, but yeah, it's fun. Your character is very heavy, like sort of as you'd imagine from a big sort of mecha looking astronaut guy. And the banter between her and him and all that stuff was like, it's funny and dopey and silly. It's like, yeah, I liked it a lot. It seemed like a slick game, Pragmata. So definitely went up in my expectation after playing it for sure. Frank, let's talk a little bit about the Resi 9 demo. So it takes place in a house. Who are you playing? Ashcraft? What's it?
Yeah. So in Resident Evil Outbreak, there's a journalist character, and I don't know if this is the same girl or if it's her daughter. I think it's the same.
I think it's her daughter.
Yeah, it's I gotta look it up. So it's I remember like when
President's daughter.
Yeah, when the trailer was happening, they mentioned the name Ashcroft, and I was like, wait a minute, because at first I thought it was Ashford, which is from Code Veronica.
I had the same exact thing happen.
But the fact that they acknowledge Outbreak is like also people thought like, are we getting Outbreak? Are we getting multiplayer stuff? So I think it's her daughter going back to investigate. Even the trailer is so good too, because it shows her like she's been researching this case for decade or however long, and then. Yeah, you get kidnapped and you wake up and it's like, is it a mansion? Is it the police station? And you're poking around exploring, and there is a massive, every Resident Evil has like their tyrant. So whatever this game's is, and it was very creepy and spooky and chasing you.
The demo, just to paint a picture for people, because this stuff is behind closed doors. It's on it's under embargo technically until tomorrow, but this won't go up until Friday, so we can talk about it. The demo opened with her similar stuff from the trailer, I think, where she's basically sort of tied up in this, it's a sequence where she uses her ingenuity to escape some type of restraints that she's in. And then it's basically your classic sort of kind of like 7, where you're walking around a house that's creepy and you're not quite sure what's going on. But instead of this being like a sort of a ramshackle, like the hillbilly house from 7, this is more like a fancy mansion kind of look to it. The very ornate looking doors. There are, metal gates over some of the entrances that you're going to have to use keys on. She is like whimpering and walking incredibly slowly. There's broken glass on the ground. So the pace of the game, again, look, this is a demo of a new game. It's the start of the game, presumably. So the pace is going to be slower than at any other stage. But it's a lot of like opening doors. There's no load times between the doors or anything. You're just like going in and out. You're picking up items. You're trying to figure out the puzzle. And then there is this antagonist, which is this creepy looking sort of like fucked up, grotesque lady thing that's coming after you. But there are holes in the ground and holes in the ceiling. So you don't know where she's going to be able to come out. She attacks the player a bunch of times. The demo kind of skips ahead a few times to kind of, I don't know, push things along. So, so there's some meat on the bone there that they trimmed. And it ends, I think, with you getting killed by the lady. I forget, but it's showing a very similar vibe to like inside of the house in Resi 8. That was kind of the Lady Dimitrescu sort of stuff. Like it felt very much like that, and this was the new tyrant coming after you. It looked great. Like the lighting looked really smashing, and the art direction looked terrific. But I wouldn't say there was nothing in there that was like particularly crazy until right at the end, when the demo cycles to the option menu, goes to visual settings and says first person, and flicks over to third person. And they said, yeah, basically the whole game you can play in third person as well. So that was obviously a big thing for them. But yeah, it seems similar to 7 and 8. Tone wise, it seemed a bit more self-serious. I know it's hard to tell, right? Because like also the tone of 7 and 8 in their promotional stuff was like, it wasn't like gaggy. I guess maybe it was a little bit with 8 because of her and all that. But like Resi 8 ends up, Jeremy, you still haven't played it, right?
I played 7, but not 8.
Yeah, so Resi 8 ends up being like one of the funniest, terrifying games ever. It's just so fucking ridiculous. So I don't know if they'll go down that route, especially because that character's story there's a new character and everything. So I'm not quite sure, but it did. I will say the demo felt like the trailer, more serious, more sort of grounded, less wacky, maybe.
That's very heartening to hear, because I feel like Resident Evil has always been campy and over the top and ridiculous, but I feel like it works best for me personally when it has that contrast of sort of like it takes itself seriously and then ridiculous. You get the Jill sandwich line, and it's like that's the peanut butter and jelly formula of Resident Evil for me. Is like I don't know, these weird sort of ornate like mansions and hotels that are like in sort of a state of decay, but like fancy and beautiful and baroque and stuff, and then they're filled with these disgusting grotesque monsters. Similarly, I think tonally it works when it's like trying to paint this sort of, it's serious, it's like this is a viral outbreak with like geopolitics and corporate espionage and that it's like the dumbest shit imaginable happens within that wrapper.
We have to do like a Patreon exclusive thing where we play 8. I need your like media studies brain on this thing, because it's like it's so hard to talk around it as well. It's almost like that thing of like the world takes itself seriously, but I think the degree to how ridiculous things get in 8 is so funny. Because you're just like, this is so like, and the poor character has to take it. Like, he's like, what is that? Like, he's almost like screaming at the camera, going like, what the fuck? I think he says what the fuck a few times. It's just like so insane. But anyway, yeah,
I'll hop on it at any time. Let's stream the entire thing.
Exactly. Let's do it. We'll do a like a fat session or something.
Extra fat session.
And then the last one, Onimusha 4. Frank, what did you make of the demo? Obviously there hasn't been an Onimusha in donkey's years. When did 3 come out? Like the early 2000s?
I think like 2006 was the last one.
Okay.
It's like Onimusha 1, 2, 3, and then Dawn. I didn't know Dawn of Dreams was a thing until like just recently. So Dawn of Dreams is the last one, I think, in 2006.
Okay.
Let me double check. So yeah, it's been dormant, and like I was able to like interview the Onimusha developers, and I even asked like why this game now, and I think like Capcom is just very much in this element where they're just trying to modernize all of their franchises, and eventually everyone's hoping for Dino Crisis, but with this one, it feels like the gameplay demo, it felt like the leap from like talking like the PlayStation era, from like Resident Evil 3 to like Resident Evil 4. This is like over the shoulder. I think they said that you can change the camera stuff too, but more over the shoulder, kind of like Resident Evil 4, where it's like grounded survival horror, but it's got Souls-like element. They didn't use the term Souls-like, but it's like, oh, it's modern, and it's like, But there's damage numbers. So
I mean, you literally collect souls, don't you?
Yeah,
in Onimusha, like
and that's back to Onimusha. You use your glove to collect the souls, so it's kind of like okay, they were there first, technically, but and then the combat looks very. There's a like stamina meter, so it's really like they took Onimusha and like combined like Resident Evil 4 and like Sekiro together, which is kind of already what Onimusha was, but I don't know. It's
more grounded, it's more intimate, like it's more thoughtful. So like when you're getting into an encounter, not to the degree of Sekiro, but definitely you're right in that direction where it's like you have to think about, it's a lot of like timing, obviously parrying. He can defend in any direction, which I thought was awesome. So if he had his back turned to somebody, but you got the timing on the block right, he would like stick the sword behind himself to do it. Like that looked pretty cool. And it just looked like the combat was more interesting. Like there was this one sort of demon thing that was floating, and at one stage it like he missed the attack on it and it grabbed his head, and then it ate some of the souls that he had, I guess, or it sucked it out of his arm, and then that enemy got stronger as a result, and then he had to fire, and then it was like firing projectiles at him. That was something I'd never seen before, that like, oh, an enemy that attacks you actually takes some of your essence and gets stronger. Like, is that weird that like I've played games my entire life and I don't think I've ever seen, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw something like that. Looked great. Performance was terrific. The art direction looked, I'm not an Onimusha person, but I was looking at this going, oh, I will totally play this shit. This is like, this is really cool. I think both those games, I feel like Onimusha more so, will probably, that and Pragmata were the ones that were like, oh, they were both way better than I was expecting them to be. And Resi was more, I don't know, it was kind of exactly what I thought it would be. So, but it's just that I like those games. But I would say that demo from the Resi one was probably a bit underwhelming. It was safe, I'd say, but the Onimusha one for sure was a really eye-opening.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, go for it, Jeremy.
I was just gonna say I love Onimusha. I loved 1 and 3.
Oh, cool.
I thought the fact that Jean Renault was in 3 was such a cool part of it. I have very mixed feelings about Toshiro Mifune being in this game, because Frank, the origin of this is that it was the Takashi Miike adaptation of Onimusha that used Mifune, wasn't it? I think the first one, the first time they used Mifune in, maybe I'm misremembering. There was something that I use Mifune's like this. I think it was the Takashi Miike thing, but regardless, in this game, I'll talk in isolation. I feel like it's weird to like his relationship to samurai films was as this sort of like very multifaceted actor who could play different elements of these roles, and some of them were like scoundrels who did terrible shit, and you know, like Rashomon is a great example, or like sometimes he was like the noble sort of like stoic samurai, but it was all about sort of the like human level depth that was beneath these characters, and sort of like the swordplay and the violence were all of sort of these like expressions of these characters that went beyond just like, damn, that's cool. And I think it's a very tough thing to explore with a video game, because I think like slowing down a video game sufficiently to have the swordplay be like, oh whoa, this is a real moment where like you're taking a life. It'd be like a game with like 5 fights in it. It'd be like a 20-hour game where you're like, and now you go have tea with your family for 2 hours.
Especially one probably with so much like actual mysticism and supernatural elements.
Yeah. Like that's not what you get. That's not what's for sale at Onimusha's storefront. You're not getting, you know, like when you're killing the Genma or whatever they're called. They're not like, please, I have a zombie family. But regardless, I just think it's kind of weird to like.
Is it tonally? Is that what you're saying? It's like having like Jean-Claude Van Damme in a dramatic adaptation, or having I don't know. Well, John Reno worked, you said, but John Reno, I guess, has that, you know, he's in silly movies. I recently watched Ronin for the first time, and that's a very silly movie.
And moreover, like, I think the fact that John Reno was alive to consent to it, I think is the important aspect for me. I think Mifune being like I think when you die, if you're like a culturally beloved figure, they should kind of just like, they shouldn't Tupac hologram you. I feel like they should lock your legacy in and be like, these are the projects he wanted to take, and he took them in his lifetime, and now it's over.
Blame his family, because they signed off on this one.
Oh no, I'm sure they did. I mean, this shit happens all the time. The guy who drew I think it was the guy one of the godfathers of manga. I think it was the guy who drew Astro Boy. Frank might know. Is it Osamu? I can't remember his name. I'm not like a manga head. But after he died, I believe his daughter went through his drawings and found like a bunch of like erotic drawings he'd done that he'd never released, and then I think like released some of them. And I might be getting a few of the details here wrong, but that always struck me as sort of like
Astro Boner.
Yeah, like if your dad has drawn weird like sexy mouse girls in his private time, that's between him and whatever god he worships. But anyway, I don't know. If I was making stuff and I had like a legacy of doing the work I did, you intentionally release the work you release, and you know, sometimes stuff doesn't get released because there's not time for it or whatever. But it's I don't know. I just think it's weird to see Mifune just being like, and now I'll kill all these zombies, even though I'm dead myself. They're like zombifying Mifune in a grotesque way that sits wrong with me. But
first
the game does
Kurosawa
really
mode, and now we have this. It's interesting though, because like they've always used some actors, right? That this is kind of a thing in Onimusha, right? They always have like an actor, but it's usually like probably in the West somebody who we maybe don't know. I don't know. I'm not the biggest otaku, so it's hard for me to say. But was that the case in 2 and 3 as well? And one Frank that they used.
remember.
Yeah, it's always some actor that's like contemporary in Japan, but like they've never done like Totoshobo Asano. There's like one main guy that they could have used who's been in all Takashi Miike's films. But for me, I just like it because it's like like even when I asked him, it's like, yeah, Mifune is like is so iconic when it comes to samurai films. So for me, I think it's like, the way I see it is like, if this is a crumb that leads to anyone checking out Kurosawa, we're in 2025. Like, I'm so afraid that like that stuff is getting to like, there's always gonna be kids, like Letterboxd and Criterion's keeping that stuff alive, but it's like anything that can like bring people closer to the light of Kurosawa. I'm like, yes, like this is like, I really think it's like that. It's like better this than Fortnite. There's a thematic element to it.
Oh my god!
Hold on, don't
say it.
You beat
said
me
the
to
words,
it.
Frank.
I was literally thinking the exact same thing when you were describing that. That if they put him in Fortnite, I'd be in the streets next to the protesters, but I'd be like, fuck ICE and fuck Fortnite. Like I'd have 2 signs next to each other with equal fervor.
Yeah, I can totally see how this game is maybe not the most perfect fit for something like that. I'm not very knowledgeable about the Onimusha lore, but yeah, mileage is going to vary on that stuff. I'm interested to see what you think when you see the gameplay as well, as somebody who's played the games, because like I said, I'm not super knowledgeable knowledgeable about that stuff. But yeah, that was our time at Capcom. Frank, other stuff that stood out to you from the week. You crushed me and some other random guy and the CPU at that Lego party game. That was good. It was well produced. That was good. That was, if you like Mario Party and Lego, guess what? It's that game. Nothing else to report. It's got lots of good animation. I feel like it was fairer than Mario. There was less bullshit than Mario Party.
That was the one thing I was missing. I didn't comment on, but it's like a big part of Mario Party is some of the games are so stupid that it's like it's like all the games and all the mini games in the Lego Party are like, oh, this is actually like a good mini game, like it works. But it's like, oh, you kind of need like more bullshit like that. Like
so that the person. That's actually a good point. I was thinking if there was someone in our group who wasn't good at games, I don't know if this would be the game. Yeah, maybe they have more. It was like it was a weird thing to say that like you should have worse mini games, but I had a similar thing where I was like, like having everyone on a ball and it just starts rolling around. You're like, fuck, and you fall off straight away. Like it actually felt like they were skill based, which was kind of cool, but also like I don't think my kid could play this game with me because I just have to let them win all the time.
Yeah,
which is odd for a Lego game, which you would associate.
Yeah,
like I would think Mario Party would be the gamer game.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it seemed really cool. But yeah, that was my one note as well, Frank. What other stuff stood out to you? Obviously,
there was
putting together a video as well.
Lumines. So but it was by Enhanced. So the team that did like Res Infinite and Tetris Effect. So like the hyper crazy visuals where you're ascending into space and time. But it was just Lumines, and it felt so cool to like, I don't know, just sit down and just like, all right, here we go, and blitz through it and just like get like, oh my god, that's always my favorite thing is like for certain demos just going. And I know Danny's explained like, that's games media mode, like they'll set it easy, but like I know how to play Luminous, so I'm proud with that. So that was excellent. I really liked playing that.
They had a cool extra mechanic in there where. Because they added another one a few years ago. They had all those the little X's on the cubes that'll kill lots of them. But this was one where you basically make like sort of a big mega block, and then you can keep adding to the mega block for like 6 cycles, I think. And then if you keep adding to it, it'll basically kill the whole thing and then delete it. So it's basically a way of like producing massive combos. Which is the only real addition to it. And then they said there's going to be more of a sort of an intentional narrative on this one, because we talked a little bit about the Tetris stuff and how there was like kind of a narrative in there, but it's not really super hands-on. They said in this one it should be a bit more obvious maybe where this one is kind of what it's trying to say. But the music was banging. The stages looked great. It was exactly what you'd expect. If you like Tetris Effect or any of those games or Lumines, it was one of these demos you play 2 minutes of it and you go, yep, I'm in. Good. You guys did it. Plays exactly what you think. Cool. Good job.
There was also from the team that did Patapon, there's a new game called Ratatan. Oh yeah, there's a new game called Ratatan. Same thing where it's a rhythm-based this one's a rhythm-based roguelike like action game where you're commanding troops and with a drum beat and you're fighting things as they come, but it's set to like extremely cute music. But you have these little like minions killing each other, and it's such a almost like Pragmata where it's like you have to be doing platforming and like real-time strategy troop management while also doing a rhythm game. So it's like if you're good at rhythm games, it scratches your brain, and like it's a rhythm game like beat 'em up kind of, and it's so hard to describe. But it took me like the demo was like an hour because the first 20 minutes I kept like losing, and then once it clicked, it was like, oh, okay, I get it. So and there's a demo for that there. I feel like you have to try it, but once you hear the music and the art is so cute, and like Monster Hunter, you can constantly like level up. There's skill trees and things like that. But yeah, it's launching on early access in like a month or two. So Ratatan I really liked, and then there's a new game from the team that did Blasphemous, which was Blasphemous 2 was one of our Game of the Year lists. A team based in Spain is doing a pixel art Ninja Gaiden game, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and I got to play it, and that's also on the Steam demo you can check out, and that game is excellent. Like it's very Scalebound. Sorry, not Scalebound. Oh my god, Blasphemous.
No,
Back from the dead.
I wish. I wish. Blasphemous. I liked, but it's more slower based, intentional, like Souls-like combat. Ninja Gaiden's fast, like fast running platforming. If you get good, you can like jump, hit, like do like air attacks to keep jumping on top, all this stuff. So it's the exact kind of like pixel platform action like Ninja Gaiden. So that I was like, oh, this is perfect. Because I played Sega's Shinobi, which is like it's more of a Metroidvania where you're searching around, but Ninja Gaiden was so much faster paced. I'm like, I like this. Shinobi's good too, but it was more like looked more like flash animation illustration art, whereas I like the pixel art of Ninja Gaiden. But both, if you like ninja games, this is quite a year. So I liked all that. And then
I got to play Dosa Divas, which is the new game from Outer Loop. So those are the folks who made Falcon Age. We interviewed Chandana Ekanaika a couple of years ago about that one. Thirsty Suitors was the game they came out with a couple of years back. I really liked Falcon Age. I don't think I played enough of Thirsty Suitors. I didn't get super into it. But you can tell with those games that they have gotten sort of like, I don't know, more confident, and the games have gotten like how do I explain it? Like they're more complicated or more like produced better. Like you can just tell that the team has gotten better with each one. And with Dosa Divas, I was like, okay, no, they've hit their pace now. This feels good. So it's a game that has like a the setup of the world is really funny and interesting. You're like two sisters whose third sister has basically like, you're from a culture of people who make like really nice food, and your third sister basically has made like DoorDash slurry that everyone eats now. It's like slurry that comes down a pipe, and so no one cooks anymore. And you're coming into this town. So there's like an overworld where you're exploring the town. Your two sisters in this big mech basically, and you're playing the mech, sort of jumping around. But the actual game itself is a turn-based combat thing. So it is a, straight up, you and your, party are attacking another party, and instead of the, traits being based on fire, on water and stuff, they are based on like spiciness and, umami or whatever, stuff like that. The parry system is very tight and fun. The combat loop, I really enjoy. There is like boosting you need to do. It's genuinely challenging, at least it was at the start. And the animation and everything just like popped really good. Two of my favorite animations in this game. One, when you're playing, so you're walking around sort of in the mech. So the mech is kind of when you're in the overworld, you're running around. When you double jump with the mech, it does like sort of like chicken wings, like it's trying to fly on the second jump. And when you hit the run button, it's straight up like Naruto runs around as a mech. So I was a big fan of that. So yeah, I think this to me feels like them sort of hitting their stride. It immediately felt like something that was more mechanically substantive in a way that I was really vibing with. I was like, oh, they're great. I will play this on a Steam Deck like nonstop. This is good stuff. So yeah, Dosa Divas art style's super sick as well. I've never had a dosa before. Do you guys know what that is?
Good. Yeah.
What is it? It's
like
like a burrito or something?
It's like a giant, it's almost like a savory pancake. It's like this giant paper thin piece of cooked dough that you sort of like can roll up food in or rip off pieces and grab bits of food. It's kind of like, it reminds me, it's a very different texture, but it reminds me a little bit sort of like the aesthetic experience of Ethiopian food, where you have the big kind of like spongy flatbread.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
Dosa's amazing. Go get one right now.
Yeah, this is I don't know, is it like South Indian or something? The games that Outer Loop have produced have obviously done a great job of like highlighting sort of Southeast Asian culture in very interesting and unique ways. So I was unsurprised to be once again sort of the mirror put up to my face about how little I know about certain parts of the world. So that was pretty cool to see. Just on that front, did you guys see Relooted?
Relooted?
This is a fucking concept for this game I absolutely adore. It's made in South Africa, and basically you are a group of black, like, what would you call them? Spies or something? Or thieves, I guess is the word. who are stealing back artifacts from like colonial powers.
Let's go. Game of the year.
I thought that is such a fucking smart, which is like completely like, yeah, I lived in London for years. You go to the V&A and it's full of shit that's just been including Irish stuff.
They gave this to us. They let us have it.
100%.
It's the funniest paradox of sort of like living in 2025, and they're like, yeah, we really like respect these cultures and we want to bring like awareness to their culture. And it's like, well, why don't you just like give the shit back? And they're like, well, it's, you know, it's like safe here. You can like learn about it. It's like, yeah, but like, wait, hold on. There's like,
it's like we do the land acknowledgements up here, which like I think is, you know, perfectly fine. But whenever they do it, I'm like, we're doing this show on your land and your land and your land and your land.
Yeah.
I do
It's
remember
like a
this.
reminder of all the original
Here's
sins
all the
that
people
were
we
committed.
stole from.
Right.
I do remember this game. I didn't remember the title, but now it's all coming back to me. This is when I had to close the live chat during the Summer
funny.
Game Fest presentation because it immediately.
Don't let Elon Musk see this.
It just became a billion people saying woke, which people will say anytime there's a woman or a black person or any person of color on screen.
Yeah, it's
They bring up
similar
the
sort
color
of
swatch.
African futurism of Black Panther. You know what I mean? In fact, one of the Black Panther movies literally opens with the guy stealing the thing back, right?
Yeah.
I
Killmonger
think it's in
goes
London,
to the
actually.
museum.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Wait, isn't that the villain? Are you saying the villain does that?
He is kind of the good guy in the movie. That's
Exactly,
the
yeah,
best
yeah.
part of Black Panther is that Killmonger's the hero until the last second when he says something fucked up, and they're like, "Oh well, now we gotta kill him."
Okay, cool. That's how. Now, maybe I am interested in Black Panther.
It's actually Ryan Coogler. It turns out knows how to make movies.
Relooted is also, I think, a very good name. So, I want to see more about Relooted. The gameplay itself looks like it's sort of like a 2D, like 3D, but like on a 2D plane, jumping around the building kind of thing. Like a, I don't know, what other game? It looks like lots of games. We need a name for this thing. What do you call that when it's like, it's 3D, but you're moving across the...
2.5D is that?
Maybe
2.5D to me implies that it's like actual
move back and
2D,
forth.
like pixel sprites moving in a 3D.
Really?
Or maybe that's HD 2D.
That's what I
don't know.
think. Yeah, I think
It's like
2.5D
a-
spawned from this problem of
like
like,
a-
what do we call a 3D game that only moves on two planes?
2D, PvP, PvE, 3D, HD kind of thing.
Oh, sorry, did I just have a stroke? What was that?
What was it called? What was the term Frank came up with? The Japanese term for roguelike?
Search action.
Search action.
Search
yeah,
action.
Hate it, hate it, hate it.
Love it. Well, how can you hate search
it.
action?
It's so
I hate
good.
it a lot.
I love it. Anyway, yeah, Relooted. Just want to stick that in there while we were talking about colonialism. Frank, what else you got on your docket here?
Oh, I played FBC Firebreak, which is the new multiplayer game from Remedy.
What's that about?
So it takes place in the Control universe, and you're basically like cleaners. You're going in to to clean up the chaos of all the supernatural monsters inside the bureau building. But like it has like the clever like again that X-Files tone of Control where the monsters you're fighting are like made of like sticky notes and just like it's weird like that that weird office like satire stuff of Control.
So mechanically, how's it working? Is it co-op?
It's so it's PvE. It's up to 3 players. You can play it single player, but even the director was like, it's better if you can play with online. You can be grouped up cross-platform. It's like Left 4 Dead or what's the dwarf miners?
Fortress?
Dwarf Rock Galactic.
Oh, Deep Rock
That's-
Galactic.
Deep Rock.
Deep Rock, yeah.
Deep Rock Galactic. So it's
Rock and Stone.
your objective, like even though the demo I played is like there's like 30,000 sticky notes littered in the office, and you have to clean them. You have to like clean up the sticky notes. So you're just shooting sticky notes off the walls to clean it, and then monsters are attacking you and setting the place on fire, and you have to get like heal up and stuff like that. And you can set turrets, and so it's like Deep Rock Galactic, you're chipping down an objective. You have to clean off all the sticky
Did you
notes.
say Deep Cock Galactic?
No,
He
Deep
did.
Rock. Deep
I
Rock.
think he did. It's okay.
Wow.
Just move on.
So-
Just
That's
move
a
on.
different game.
Just
Yeah.
move on.
You can get it on Steam for
$5.
It'd be Deep Cock Galactic.
Oh, you did it again.
All the way. Okay, so the game. So it's cool. So okay, I hate sweaty competitive games. I hate PvP. PvE is awesome. I like that. There's different classes. You level up the skill trees. It's everything I like.
What are the classes? Are there
So
like because
the
you're
only
firefighters? So
there? Yeah. So there's the class I played was like the Super Mario Sunshine thing where you have like a water
the
gun.
flood.
Oops, you have a water gun. I didn't see what the other 2 classes were because the other 2 teammates played them. But the game is out. I think June 17th. It's launching. on
snap.
Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, $40 on Steam, or if you don't have the Game Pass, other services. But it's like okay, cool. And it's their first time doing a first-person game and multiplayer game.
Oh, wow.
And I just like Control. I like that sense of humor. So I'm like, okay, I'll be happy to check out the missions it is. I don't think I'm going to spend too much time with it, but
Is it a full-price game or is it $40?
$40.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to really
That
have
makes
fun, it's
sense.
$120. Is what I'm saying.
Or you can pay 20 more for the deluxe edition, like MindsEye.
Or no, it's
there you
actually
go.
just for MindsEye.
That's the same
There's
game.
no,
Yeah.
It comes with MindsEye.
It comes. I'm never going to be able to call it Deep Rock Galactic ever again.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Galactic.
Yeah, every
You can never do a
person.
doc on that. You can never do a cock on that.
Oh my lord!
Sorry, Frank, you were saying this takes place in the oldest house, so you're like in the same place as Control, or
Yep.
okay.
What else you got? What else were you playing?
I think those are all like the major highlights of stuff. Oh, and then I got to play Sonic Racers.
You got in. You got in.
Yeah, again,
Nice.
I did. So I was playing Shinobi, which I really liked, and the whole time I was like, "Are people off the Sonic thing?" As soon as someone got off, I beat the demo of Shinobi also, but I was like, "Can I play for 10 minutes?" I hop on, I immediately change the language to Japanese characters. So I did that with every game.
They probably didn't know you did that, and they probably didn't change it back.
Yeah. Again, I did that with any game I played, but it's cute because all the Sonic characters are like "Ganbarimasu" and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, it's so sick.
I can't wait to read the preview on PC Gamer where they're like, it's really weird that they all speak Japanese.
Very
now, but-
authentic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it's cool. So it's so funny. Like both Mario Kart and Sonic. Oh god, I want to call it Sonic Transform. Wait, there's Mario.
Yeah.
Sonic Racing Transformed.
Sonic
Yeah,
Racing
that was
Transform. They do the thing where it's like you're driving around, but you can be in a plane or a jet ski and all this stuff. So it's like
Diddy Kong
everything's
Racing.
Diddy Kong. Everything comes back to Diddy Kong. To give Jeremy
Everything
credit,
comes back.
So
Yeah.
I'm in.
okay,
I was off,
Game of
but
the
now
year.
I'm in.
Jeremy was right. Diddy, because I mean we can switch later to our Mario Kart discussion, but it's like Diddy Kong Racing set the ground of like in the future you're going to be flying and driving and boating, and we're
they
just
were
here
right.
first. But the major thing, even the trailer got like one of the biggest pops at Summer Games Fest was Sonic Racing Transformed. It's the Sonic characters. That's cool. And then, we got Ichiban from Yakuza. We got Hatsune Miku is here. We have a Joker from Persona. And like the character selection screen had like a lot of spots. I don't think the silhouettes were revealed, so I would love to see Shenmue, Jet Set Radio, Streets. Who knows? Like Sega is actively... again, like Capcom, like reviving all of their franchises. Like they put a big teaser out forever ago that they might be doing Crazy Taxi and some other stuff. So it's cool to see. So I like that's coming out later this year. But I'd only ever played like the 360 ones, which weren't great. They were fine, but this is like, this plays great. So yeah,
I've only ever played the Sonic Or, the original on PC.
The
Remember
worst
that?
possible one.
Yeah, we were running and shit. It's like a nightmare.
The music's all right.
Yeah,
in a
the
funny
music is. You're right. The music
Yeah.
is great now. You're right. It's got a good theme song.
Yeah.
Any other ones to quickly throw in? I know you played Mina the Hollower. Did you see? Did you play that or
No, that was
just
just
at the show?
an awesome announcement from Summer Games Fest where we finally got a release date for it, which I think is Halloween, which is great. but-
Okay. Let's go through some of the ones then that got announced, and you guys can pepper in any ones anything that you saw that you thought was cool. SGF proper kind of started on Tuesday with that State of Unreal. I think we talked a little bit about this, the Witcher 4 demo. Did I mention it last week slightly? I think it looked pretty cool. Did you guys see that one?
Sorry?
I didn't watch
Witcher
the whole
4
thing. I
demo.
just saw
Oh,
some
yes,
clip
yeah.
outs from it, but it
Cool.
looked gorgeous.
You can
Yes.
see all of the horse's muscles, and they move realistically thanks to Unreal Engine.
You can chop up that horse and lick the muscles. No, you can't. Sorry, folks.
There's a glue factory in game.
What do you think about Stranger Than Heaven, folks?
Looks
This is
awesome.
the official name for the, what was it, Project Century? Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so.
So this is what is it? It's a Yakuza set in the old times.
I think it's the origin story of Kiryu's father. That's what I want it to be.
Oh,
I'm imagining. It looks really cool though. Or, turn of the century Yakuza game, and the art style looks fantastic. I think they're doing a lot of cool stuff with the visuals. The action seems really fun. It's nice to see them get a little bit wackier, but the layout of it still kind of looks like Kamurocho. So they're not drifting too far away from their typical design and just going, we have this set, let's just use this and do really cool shit with it. And that is what I love RGG for. So it's cool that they're going back to that and not just going Hawaii or different places and spending all their time and effort on different environments all the time.
It looked like I feel
everyone's
like
smoking too.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
which
40s.
they should
Everyone,
be.
even
Yeah, exactly.
children smoked in the 40s.
What are you, a loser? What are you, a square? You don't smoke?
What are you, 5 now? Pick up a
Yeah, welcome to
cigarette,
Japan.
kid. Frank might be the person to ask for this. It looked like I don't think they mentioned it, but was it Osaka? I feel like I saw
It had the Osaka Bridge, the Dotonbury or Sotonbury Bridge from Osaka.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and like what I like is like they did 2 games of Judgment, and then like something happened with the actor's contract, and like
Yeah.
he wasn't allowed to be in games anymore. So this Project Century, like there's scenes where he's interrogating people, so it looks like, oh, this is like kind of a combination of Judgment, but then the fighting looks like the best fighting they've ever had. Like,
Yeah.
so
Like
yeah,
the fist fights, you mean? The like melee
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, I think because I think they had stuff in the trailer where there's a giant dude and they're about to squabble, or even like you're in a crowd and like there was one scene where they're fighting in an alley and everyone gets up from their like tables to clear it, but it felt like more ground, like I don't know, heavier and skate. Maybe it feels like the first trailer they showed where they even had blood. Like it feels like I don't know, like this I don't know if the stakes are higher is the way to use the term, but just more impactful. Whereas I feel like the Yakuza games are very beat 'em up, like, all right, throwing people here. It looks like, oh, this is way more serious.
Is this like do we know what combat system they're going to use? So we haven't seen like actual gameplay combat or anything really, have we?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I think just
okay.
what's in the trailer.
Yeah, I would guess it's closer to the like action combat of
Yeah,
like
it's gotta
Yakuza
be
games,
Judgment.
because
Yeah.
you do see blips of gameplay in the trailer where he's like approaching a guy and there's a bunch of people bumping into you, all physics like. I don't think it's about to cut to like a dragon turn-based thing in that alleyway.
And then you call your phone and a fucking crab
big-
comes in or
Yeah,
whatever.
big strong guy comes.
Lobster. Yeah.
I also think that like it's interesting how different not only areas but eras have like there's sort of like a tone packaged with them, and I really like that this has this sort of like cigarette smoke laden, dark, gritty, neon 40s feel to it. I would contrast it with I thought the IO 007 trailer was like impressive in some ways, but there was something about it that this is a personal taste thing. I wasn't super excited when I saw, a scene in like an EDM club, kind of like the Hitman Club thing, because it's like, I grew up watching Bond movies that felt like they were of a different era. Even when I was a kid in the 90s, they were about like the 50s and the 70s. And that was always kind of part of the appeal. It was this like weird sort of like cartoon of masculinity that was like a relic of the past.
Even the Brosnan stuff in the 90s was very Cold War-y.
Yeah,
It
totally.
wasn't like contemporary, yeah.
And it's weird that like whenever things are set, it's part of the reason that contemporary cinema is a hard sell for me, because when things have like, I don't know, even when someone like pulls out like a smartphone and does something on a smartphone, I'm like, this is like an era without sort of like a character, or a character that like doesn't appeal to me or something. It feels like when things reflect the current moment, they're maybe we don't like understand the age we live in enough to reflect it in ways that give insight into it. But like seeing the 40s is like that has so much character and like punch to it that as soon as I saw that, it has like a tangible, understandable, like concentrated flavor to it that I'm very excited to experience.
I had a similar feeling with the IO Interactive stuff, and I love that studio, and I'm a huge fan of what they've done with Hitman, and I kind of want to just trust them, you know what I mean, a little bit on it, but I'm with you. I think tonally I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's modern. I thought you would do something a bit more, I don't know what, but I was thinking more, what's his name? The guy with the jaws for mouth?
Jaws?
Jaws, is that his name? Jaws, yeah.
His name is Jaws, yeah.
Jaws, like more, throwback or something, villain in a volcano. I was thinking more of that than like modern young Bond who's savvy and cool,
I wonder if part of it is like people have an expectation of what James Bond is like in that era. And like even with the face reveal, they were like, we don't want you to see him until we're ready for you to see everything around him. Like, we don't want you to see this young guy who clearly looks like he knows what an iPad is. They didn't want you to see that face without seeing the rest of the world around him. So I think they just wanted to do their own thing and not have people be like, this takes place in the 60s, but it's not Dr. No, or, it takes place in the 90s. Where's
I
Pierce
doubt
Brosnan?
the level of design they could, Daniel Craig is contemporary. So like they could have gotten away with it by having a different style to it. I think personally, I was thinking it was more throwback, but even just the version of contemporary that they have is very, it seems a lot more Bourne than Bond, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Like the Bond universe is weirdly stripped back. Like it's very slick. Like everything's slick. When he's in that, like even the Daniel Craig, like those movies understood it, like where the Daniel Craig stuff, like when he's in Dia de los Muertos in the intro to the penultimate one, like even the way that's done is so choreographed and slick. Everyone else, like all the extras, are also slick and beautiful and clean in a way that's like it's so cinematic. And this didn't seem cinematic in that way. It seemed more action movie-ish, which those, like the Bond movies are like, they're shot, like the way they're shot, the lenses they use, the production values of the sets, the locations, it's all very intentional. It's less shaky cammy Bourne kind of stuff. And I had a weird, it just felt a little bit tonally weird to me in a way that I was like, oh, okay.
I did get more of like a Mission Impossible vibe watching that trailer.
Yeah. It's a really, it's an interesting thing you bring up is the Daniel Craig ones, because the Daniel Craig Bond movies are obviously contemporary, but you're right, I don't feel the same way about them because they have it's like they rarify the settings where they feel like even when they're set, obviously they're set in the real world in real places, but those versions of those places feel fantastical.
Yes.
Whereas like when you walk into a place with a big like EDM DJ setup, it doesn't feel like, I don't know, that just, it feels to be like it's like it could be anywhere, something like that maybe. Like it doesn't have like a character of its own. I mean, I think, I don't know.
Like what would the Daniel Craig version of that look like? It would probably be like something like really dingy or weird or exclusive that you're not meant to be there or know this is a club, or it's like, you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't just be, and I hate to dunk on that thing so much because I think we're all fans of that studio and I trust that they make good games, but like art direction wise or whatever, we're picking up on the same thing. I think that it just felt a little like tonally just totally not the direction we were thinking. Who knows? Like, you know,
it could be amazing.
When Hitman was first shown, there was probably some weird things around that, or the way
There definitely was.
Certainly, the way they released it was definitely something that a lot of people were critical about, and it didn't sort of proved a lot of us wrong. I think
Even the way they release it now, it's not like it's gotten much better.
right. So it's you know, but we'll have to wait and see. But interesting, that we had a similar sort of reaction to that. What did you make of Silent Hill F, guys?
It looks
See
awesome.
much of this?
Yeah. Oh, really? You think it looks good?
I mean, like, here's the thing.
I just assume you just don't like anything Silent Hill if it's like after 4. That's just my presumption. But
Well,
that's maybe
you're
unfair.
mostly correct with that. But
Okay.
but it's like if your favorite restaurant sort of goes you know, downhill, and you're like, well, you know, I still have love for that restaurant even if I don't eat there anymore. And then they're like introducing the new, and they have like a new special. You gotta
I'll give it a shot.
you gotta hope it's good. You know,
It's viral,
They've been good before. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to experience a Silent Hill that expresses a different location, a different cultural character, a different. I think having a Silent Hill in Japan is going to be like a novel thing unto itself. I was
Did
not
you play a short message?
no, I have not played it
No?
yet. I will experience it. I heard very polarizing things about it, but I'll play it before F. But I dabbled a little bit in the 2 remake, and it was not for me. But it wasn't because I didn't think it felt great. It's just because 2 to me is the original Silent Hill 2. I didn't need to relive it as a different game. But yeah, I mean, I think like mechanically it felt great. So if this plays like that and tells an original interesting story in an original interesting setting, I think that you know, could be cool.
Looks creepy.
Yeah, super creepy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Tick the box. Looks creepy. Looks fucking.
Looks like the hills are
disgusting.
silent.
Speaking of Japan, Romeo is a dead man. The latest,
baby.
The latest
That's the game.
freaky sickness from Suda51.
5 seconds in, I was like, that's Suda. That has to be Suda.
Yeah.
Fuck. And then Grasshopper Manufacture with the music. I was like, I'm so fucking. And it's Killer 7's, I think, 20th anniversary this week.
Oh, God.
I wanna say.
God, I feel
So,
that is awful.
I know.
That is awful. I
was
hate that.
10. I'm sorry.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. I'm so down. It looks ridiculous. It's like, yeah, so cool. They have another game. I think him and Swery, I want to say.
Swery doing
Suda
something?
51. Yeah, called Hotel Barcelona, which has
Oh, yeah.
demo
There's
on
a demo
Steam as
out,
well.
right?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Classic
It was cool.
Suda51. He'd wait all for years and then 2 games come around at once.
900 things all at once. Yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah.
That Grasshopper Manufacturer book I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just shows you all the weird shit that studio has made, or like just things you never heard of, like that. What was that Butterfly game?
Flower, Sun, and Moon.
Or I fucking
Is that
just
it? On the
bizarre
DS,
stuff.
right? No?
Yeah, a lot of stuff that never made it over here.
Yeah.
Such a weird
Flower, Sun, and
crew.
Rain. Yeah.
yeah, glad to see him.
Did you think it looked cool? Were you excited for it, or is
Yeah,
it just
it looks higher production than some of the stuff that he'd put out over the years. Like a lot of the games he'd put out seem to be kind of like a step behind, maybe in terms of like never an art style, but definitely in terms of like production. And look, I'm a fucking sicko when it comes to that stuff. I like a game that's got a good frame rate and has nice sharp edges to it, so it matters a little bit. And I think, I was surprised when I saw it. I was like, oh, this looks slick. This looks like really cool. Frank, what did you make of the Marvel? What is this? Tokon Fighting Souls?
Oh, this
oh
was
my
like
fucking God.
This was the craziest thing when it got announced because, like, yeah, it's instead of Marvel versus Capcom 4, we're just getting Marvel 4 basically, and
we did get Marvel versus Capcom 4. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, Infinite, Jesus. It was so crazy to see like Arc System Works take it, but it looks phenomenal. And I was like bummed it wasn't playable at the show.
Yeah.
But
that's what we thought our multiplayer appointment was, and it ended up being
Ended up
Lego
being-
Party.
So it was like the worst. I mean, the Lego Party wasn't bad, thankfully,
Sure.
but like
Yeah.
10 minutes before the PlayStation State of Plays, we got an email that was like, "Hey, check out this game, this new multiplayer game from a beloved IP. It might be announced soon. Wink, wink." And then like 10 minutes later, Marvel gets announced. I'm like, "Oh, that has to be book an appointment." And then it's like, "Congrats, Lego." Oh, but then we played it. And it was like, "Okay, this is fun."
Yeah.
Gersman thought the same thing. He was on. He also thought it was that, and he has like he hates Mario Party games. Like on the Dan's made him play it on Giant Bomb for years, so he was similarly distraught. But yeah, we had fun with Lego though. It was a good time. Beloved IP, Lego. They're not wrong.
It's no Tokon fighters. That Iron Man design, going for the Saitan style, or like what do you call it? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Shout outs to my homie Green Ranger. Just like such a cool design, such a cool choice. Captain America looks great. The fact that it's like a 4v4 tag fighter, that's wild. I can't wait to see what they do with all the characters.
4v4.
Yeah.
What's the? There is another fighting game coming out that is 3v3.
2XKO? No, that's not 3v3.
Which
That's
one is
2v2.
it? Am I crazy? Is there another fighting game that I don't like?
There's a
2D
lot
one
of them.
like this.
Fuck,
got
a lot.
announced?
2XKO. There's the Nen fighter, the Hunter one. I can't think of anything that's 3v3 though.
I don't know. I feel like there's too many fucking trailers. What does Tokon mean?
I was just about to ask the same thing.
I have no idea. Is it Soul?
It's just weird that it's like, and it has like a little
Fighting
line over
spirit.
the O. What's that? thing?
Spirit? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
fighting
Because like
spirit.
in the fighting thing, you could like in the trailer, in the fighting thing, you could see the soul transferring between the other characters when you tag them in.
Oh, it's Onimusha. Okay.
No, it's what's the driving? It's Driver San Francisco. That's what it is.
Oh, beautiful. What a game. Resident Evil Requiem, we talked about already. Resident Evil 9, the queue looks like a 9. Good job.
Requiem.
Can I also mention one of the biggest surprises of the show was Scott Pilgrim, Scott Pilgrim EX, but which is almost bad because it sounds like it's just like another re-release. But no, this is a brand new Scott Pilgrim game from Brian Lee O'Malley. Like, everyone's back. Brian Lee O'Malley, Tribute Games, the original team that made
sweet.
Scott Pilgrim.
Anna
Monoguchi's doing a soundtrack. At the same
Wow.
time, they're dropping a brand new album this year. So now we get 2 new albums all of a sudden. And Paul Robertson, the original like pixel artist, is the art director on this. So it's
Dude,
like,
hell
I
yeah.
can't believe it.
I can't believe they called it that and it's a sequel though, because I thought it was a re-release until somebody mentioned it to me later. I guess if they call it Scott Pilgrim 2, that creates some weirdness because of the book. Like if it was called
Is it a
Scott
narrative
Pilgrim
sequel?
the Game 2 or something, it's like, I don't know, fucks up their Google, but like EX like diminishes it so much. Like
Yeah,
it's
they
such
should have called it like a proper noun, kind of like a Scott Pilgrim and the Deathly Hallows, and then I would have known. that it was
Exactly,
like a,
They had a similar problem with the show Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which is like a retelling of the story, but also narratively a sequel. It's like a bait and switch at the end of the first episode. So yeah, they have a problem with that whole thing. It's cool though. That's exciting.
Moving on, I'll just keep.
Hold on. Digimon story time, stranger. It's time for the fucking freak hour, baby.
Excuse
It's me.
me?
I'm
Excuse
taking
me?
over. Look, I love Digimon. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's like Pokemon for people who are cooler. You know what? There's been so many games throughout its lifetime as a series. Most of them have been focused on like the owning the Digimon and helping them and raising them as your pets. And then eventually they started doing these narrative things like with Time Sleuth or whatever the hell. Cyber Sleuth, and then like another Hacker's Memory, I think. But like these games are very underrated. I think they're actually good turn-based strategy game or turn-based RPGs, but then also have these really, I think, fun Digimon style stories. They're like stupid. It's like, what if children got sucked into a computer? And then they have to deal with their problems in computer space. And this one is another one of those, but it has a bigger budget. Because last year or a couple of years ago, they did Digimon Survive, which was like a SRPG or like a tactics RPG. Not good. I thought the visual novel stuff was bad and the combat was bad, but those other games, which I think this is the studio handling that, the same one that did Cyber Sleuth, which again were good. They have a new one coming out. It looks big. It still has Agumon. Like they can't get rid of him. So I don't know. I'm just very excited. I love Digimon so much. If anyone else likes Digimon, please let us know for the love of God. Don't let me be the only freak.
And in the trailers they showed, you are walking around in Shinjuku and
Yes.
Akihabara in Tokyo. So that's enough for me. So I'm
Frank,
like, yep.
are we quick looking this, please?
I would love to. I watched the Digimon movie,
Let's
and
go.
there's Family
Dude,
Mart in the
Digimon the
background.
movie
Yeah.
is the worst movie ever made, but the Angela Anaconda part's very funny, and I
Oh,
love all
God.
the action in it.
Wait. The
Yes.
Angela Anaconda
So okay,
part?
let me explain. The Digimon the movie is actually 3 movies spliced together. I think it's all Mamoru Hosoda movies. I think like great director. He has a ton of great stuff. All of his stuff after that's way better. But basically the American version of it, they took the voice actors for the show and they spliced these 3 movies together. But to open it, I think it might just be in the West, because to open it, they have Angela Anaconda, the Canadian, I want to say, cartoon. They animated like a specific Digimon themed like short that opens the movie. Every single time you go to watch Digimon the movie, you have to watch 5 minutes of Angela Anaconda.
What?
It is insane. It makes no sense. It has nothing to do with the plot of the movie. It's not like it's connected to anything. It just takes up 5 minutes.
They're
So
in
is it
line
like a-
to see the Digimon movie. They're
Right,
outside
but
of
it's
theater.
not. But it's not like
Right.
they're like. It's not like anyone in the movie is like, man, I hope Angela Anaconda's enjoying this. Like it's
No,
it's
but
like
there
a
is
weird.
some thematic connection.
I suppose so. It's not like
bizarre.
it matters.
But yeah, but you can track down the Japanese version, which doesn't have. That's like the
Yeah,
version
you
I
can just
watched.
watch the 3 movies separately. It's so much
Yeah.
better. Where they say Diablomon instead of Dioboromon. Like, I love Digimon. It's so dumb.
Is that because you can't say devil in Japan or something? Or it's,
No, the Japanese one is Diablomon. But
Oh.
when they came here to the West, they had to change it to Dioboromon because you can't say the devil. Children can't watch that. That's
Oh,
against
is
the
that
law.
why? I thought it would be because of the like kana, like Diabolo instead of Diablo, like how you would.
They do that a lot. They do that a
Nice.
lot, but I feel like that was less of a move because it's just Diablomon.
Gotcha. Maybe they were also the kana can also be like a cop out if they were like, we don't want to say Diablo. Let's just say it in like
ding, ding,
bad
ding, ding, ding.
Japanese.
Oh, look, we hit our Digimon talking for the
Aw,
year
man, damn
already.
it.
Sorry,
All right.
guys. We have to
All
move
right.
on.
That's the bell
on.
that signals the beginning of the Digimon Corner.
I
The
had
new
fun.
segment.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
It'll
Send in emails
return
and say we want
October
more.
5th on its release date.
Yes.
Fantastic. Sorry, I did have something I wanted to cut to, but I totally forgot because my head is full of digital monsters now.
As it
Oh
should
yeah, WuTang Rise of the Deceiver was released
Yeah.
or announced. Also, so was a game called Wulong or something.
Wu-
Oh yeah,
Wu-Chang.
they were
Wu-Chang.
back to
Wu-Chang
back.
and then
It was
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Chang and then Wu-Tang. I got really confused. And
Yes.
I was like, oh, Wu-Tang is a Wu-Tang tie-in, and no,
I
they're
cannot
two separate games.
believe they put those two back to back.
Insane.
are they
Jeff thought that was
trolling?
so funny.
Yes, that was very bizarre. That second game looked neat. They had it playable at Play Days. We didn't get a chance to jump on it.
The yesterday I got to jump on in the morning.
did?
I only played for like 10 minutes. What I like about it's so colorful and pretty. Like the first level, you're in a green forest. It's typical Souls stuff. You can switch weapons, the items, all this stuff.
Yeah, what is it? What is it gameplay wise? Soulsborne-y, but it's like
Yeah,
kind of
it's
brighter Japan.
Soulsborne. Yeah, it's even the guy was like, oh, it's the Chinese.
Oh,
Dark
Chinese.
Souls.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's I forget which city, but yeah, the devs are in China. But yeah, it's another Soulsborne game. But I liked it. It was cool.
Very cool development team, Brassline Entertainment. I think Just Blaze is involved with them
Oh.
in some way, and Evan Narciss is one of the writers on this game as well, who's done like a ton of great comics, Black Panther and stuff, and also I think wrote the story
You're talking
for Mafia
about
3.
WuTang now.
Yeah, Wu-Tang is what
Okay.
I'm talking about. Sorry,
Okay.
not Wu-Chang. Sorry. I see the names are throwing me off. I can bind them into one game. But yeah, Wu-Tang I think looks awesome. I love the idea for that.
I just want to say that when I was typing Wu-Tang game into Google to bring this up again, I was also listening to you speak, and so I typed Wu-Tang Gang, which is like something that your grandmother
Nice.
says when she's like, "Are you listening to that
Yes.
Wu-Tang Gang again?"
Love it. Love the Wu-Tang Gang. There was a game called Ill that had a trailer that had babies crawling towards you, zombie babies, and you could shoot them and they would physics fall into barrels and everything would fell down really cool. So that was rad. So I was into that. I'll play this game when it comes out. What other stuff? What else we got, folks? Should we? I feel like the Xbox stuff I'm holding on to here until there's anything else that's not Xbox related.
I got a couple things. Neverway. This is a game from I forget the name of the developer because Pedro Medeiros, I believe, is the name of the pixel artist who was the famously the pixel artist on Celeste and a bunch of other stuff. Cold Blood Inc. is the developer. And this is being published in, I guess not published, but Outer Sloth, which is the funding arm of Inner Sloth, if I'm not mistaken, have thrown some money at this game, seen it as promising. Neverway is a horror, spooky but cute pixel art life sim RPG, kind of like Stardew Valley meets. I feel like Tim Burton is kind of underselling it here. It's definitely way more nuanced and interesting in its own thing than that. But
Binding of Isaac. Maybe, or something.
I could see that a little bit. Yeah, like a secular Binding of Isaac. But this looks fantastic. I've been following this for a while. It has some of the most gorgeous pixel art I've seen in a long time, obviously, as you'd expect. And it has like this like restrained color palette. The use of color is just inspiring. So check out Neverway for sure.
There was another game that was another like game where you forage, I think, ingredients in your garden and then you cook things in the house. But it was like
every single one of them.
It was like a horror game. They had it playable, I think, there, Frank, but I couldn't get on. Do you remember this?
What was the horror game?
It was like it's a 3D game where you play as a lady, I think, a girl or something, and it's in I forget. It might have been part of Data Devs. But it looked interesting, but it was like sort of your cooking game, but it was like a horror game as well.
Is it Grave Seasons, the one where there's like a serial killer?
Grave Seasons. Is that right? Is that it? Yeah, it was at the mix. It was at the mix, yeah. Is that what it's called? Grave Seasons?
Grave Seasons, yeah. I saw coverage of this during Summer Game Fest, so I would assume it was this.
No, it's not this. It's a 3D game.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about. So it's not that. That looks cool though. Fuck, it has a similar kind of sound and name. I'll try and find it at some stage.
Fractured Blooms.
That's it. Fractured Blooms.
Because I remember Jeff Keighley was like, it's Doki Doki meets Silent Hill.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that looks pretty interesting just because you mentioned it. Jeremy, what else you got on your list there?
Let me check. Sorry, I got distracted by Doki Doki meets Silent Hill because as soon as I heard that, I was stud locked for an hour. Consume Me. This is a game that has a demo available now that I refuse to play because I am so fully sold on the fact that I want to play this game when it comes out in 3 months or so. This is a cute also I guess life sim RPG, but very different presentation than the ones we've been talking about. Has this sort of like 2D girl sitting and walking around and standing in different environments, and you're sort of like managing her life. And I mean, it seems to be a game about like I've intentionally tried to stay a little away from too much detail, but it's about managing various aspects of your life and also managing sort of like insecurity about how you are and how you look, and kind of just like it's a life sim manager about the anxiety of youth.
Yes, it swept at the IGF Awards this year as well. Yeah, it's another game that came out of NYU Game Center as well. It's been in there for a couple of years, I think. They've been out a couple of years, I think. The devs who worked on this, and they've been finishing it up. It won the Seamus McNally. It won the Nuevo Award. It won the Wings Award as well. And it was nominated in design, narrative, and visual art as well. So it's got a lot of heat coming off of it post IGF. Looks super interesting. When is it out?
September, I believe.
Excellent.
Cool. Speaking of NYU Game Center, 11 days ago, so I mentioned NYU Game Center because Karina Pop did a talk that I watched on their Twitch channel. Everyone should go follow their Twitch channel. It's just NYU Game Center. 11 days ago, they did a Game Center live that was sort of their own showcase of a bunch of stuff coming out of NYU Game Center. And it's if you're looking for some stuff that no one is going to tell you about, there was some heat in here.
If you're looking for all the games that are going to get nominated in the next 4 years of IGF, then check out.
Yeah,
I mean, Despalote came out of there as well. Like, there's so many games end up coming between that and DigiPen. I feel like, or historically, some of the the sort of East Coast, West Coast most prestigious or perhaps affecting the industry sort of game degrees out there. So cool stuff, very cool stuff, interesting stuff as well, which is always important. Jesse, do you have any on your list?
I didn't watch a lot of the expos and showcases. I just kind of watched the Sony one, and I was like, that was good. And then I started watching SGF, and I gave up. I was like, I can't with all. What is it? Not how many like Souls-like games did we see at this event?
I'm so tired Discord of it. Was going insane because
Dude,
it was Souls game after
crazy.
Souls game after Souls game.
And the thing to me is they're saying they're Souls-likes. Like if you want to make it and you want to front, that's cool. But you're straight up saying this is a Souls-like, and then you cut to it and it's like it's dark and it's hard. We need
Lives of P is so happy it got out early. It's like, oh shit.
It just barely beat the rush. Yeah.
Exactly,
like
yeah.
it's again, Overture seems great. The epilogue DLC that they put out seems awesome. People are it's raving about it. It looks really fun. But for the most part, I was just so disillusioned by the whole thing. I kind of gave up. I looked at some highlights of stuff, and most of it was stuff that we've already seen. Like Future Game Show had a lot of cool stuff, but it had like Sword of the Sea, which we already knew about from Giant Squid, which looks awesome. Don't get me wrong, like it looks amazing, but it was just kind of this felt more like a recap event, at least for me, because I try to keep up with this stuff. So but yeah, I think it's stuff that we talked about in the past. That was the big one for me, was Sword of the Sea. That looks fantastic. New game from the Abzu Art Studio team.
Right.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I think it just the glimmering sands, the beautiful vibes and the mirages in the distance. It looks like totally my kind of thing. So that was the big.
Which was that?
Sword of the Sea.
That was playable at
oh
Game
yeah,
Days
did you guys give it a shot?
We didn't get to play it, but I watched somebody play it for a while. Yeah, so if you were into like you said, Journey, Abzu, all these bad boys.
Pathless.
Yeah. But this is like you're just straight up snowboarding in the fucking sand and shit. It looked gorgeous.
Yeah,
looked really beautiful. How do you guys feel about playing Xbox games anywhere you want?
Wow, on my ROG Ally featuring Xbox game software back in the background. Oh my god.
No, this is definitely an Xbox console.
They were not quiet about the ROG. That ROG pops up when the buddy grabs the clear tofu and stretches it. I was like, I don't like this. Turn that off.
So yeah, the ROG Ally, the Republic of Gamers, they have their handheld system. There is an Xbox version coming out. It has Windows on it. Their Windows 11 mobile OS, which is not brilliant, but it's, I suspect with this, they will be doing a bunch of work to sort of get it up to speed. It will be capable of playing games across multiple platforms because it is on Windows. So it will be compatible with Steam, with Epic Game Store, GOG, that weird Ubisoft one we're still forced to use sometimes, and Battle.net as well. So if you want to play World of Warcraft using a touchpad, keyboard, and Baron's chat, I've got the system for you.
That's how you get kicked out of the guild, by the way, if you're playing this.
They find out you're playing
if
on
they
the
find out
ROG.
you're on controller, you're fucking out of the guild,
dead.
bro. Your DKP or Dragon Kill DKP
Just
is down.
Make your own guild then. You make like fucking the allies, the WoW allies.
there you go.
Guild of Normies.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
all.
one thing I miss. Like Republic of Gamers sounds like a 2005 World of Warcraft guild. Like every guild was like Horde sucks, or it's like I miss that.
Horde
like
sucks.
Yeah.
So they announced that. Honestly, there's a couple of things at that event. Silk Song is going to come out day and date with this thing.
Maybe.
But
I think the devs have come out and been like, we are not attached to any hardware release.
Oh, funny, really?
Yeah, they're like, it will come out before holiday of this year, but we are not attached to the ROG Ally, which I thought was weird that they came out and said that after the fact. I don't know.
I wonder what
happened
got
there.
lost in translation there. Yeah. Actually, just while we're on a quick deviation, as we're talking about Australian developers, A Long Walk, that looks really cool. Did you see that?
I did not see
A Long Walk. This is made by House, the Untitled Goose Game people.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Yes.
big walk, right?
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Walk.
I was going to say,
Sorry,
A Long Walk does
sorry.
not sound like anything. Okay, yeah.
Big walk.
Yeah, this looks
My
awesome.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes, this looks very cool. Sort of like imagine your Valheims or whatever, any game where you're co-op, or what was the content warning?
Yeah.
Where you are this, it's a 4-player online co-op game with local, what do we call it? Local speech.
Yeah.
Proximity
chat,
chat. Thank you. Local speech.
Local
Fucking
speech.
Long Walk.
That sounds like a
Wu-Tang gang.
Nintendo way to do
Wu-Tang,
it.
I know, right?
Local
Fucking
speech.
big cock galactic. It's
Oh.
all coming together.
Not again.
Yeah, this looks neat. It's that, but you're just like exploring a wonderful land together, like a funny forest, and you get lost, and there's no map, and I just love the whole thing. It seems great. I was like, I will 1000% play this fucking thing. It looks really cool.
It's great that there's so many hangout games like this that are just like
Yes.
chilling with the homies. Like this web fishing, right? I guess Tower Unite was already kind of popular for a little bit there. Just came out of 1.0 or out of early access. So yeah, I love the idea of hanging out with 3 spheres with eyeballs.
Yeah,
I'll play
they
it.
look really dopey and funny and cool.
Yeah.
Looks like fuck, I can't remember. It's this old
Roly poly
British-
oly.
I wonder if you had this in Canada. There was this old stop motion guy. He was like a little human, but he was only about this size, and he talked like and you know what he sort of talks like is the penguin one. Was it Pingu? I think it
Pingu?
was called. Yeah. Kind of that. There was one of those, but it was like the comments are going to be everyone who grew up watching BBC is going to fucking his name was like Doink or something. Or I don't know what the fuck it was. Not Doink the clown, just I don't know.
I was thinking
Anyway.
more just smoking doinks.
Smoke
Did
big
you
dogs.
guys watch
Yeah, baby.
speaking
Fat
of
doinks
the
and Amish.
Speaking of the Microsoft thing, did you see the amazing trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops 7?
Nope. I saw
think I
a picture of
dissociated.
Milo Ventimiglia and I was like, I have to play this now. My boyfriend's in it. I have to play this.
Holy, the trailer, it doesn't work if you know it's Call of Duty Black Ops 7. If you didn't know what
Really?
it was, because they did the end one final thing, and it was the weirdest trailer ever that had all this like, you know, you're just like, they're overselling what the game is just going to be shooting people. You know what I mean? And it's just like, this is what's happening. And then it's like Call of Duty Black Ops 7. You're like, Jesus, okay, whatever. I think it had Bite the Hands That Feed You playing in it as well for the track, Nine Inch Nails. So
Oh, you know, I did see this, and I jokingly said I dissociated, but that is actually what happened.
what happened? Yeah.
I saw this, and I was like, whatever the fuck this is, I could not care less.
Are they doing Mason at the end of this trailer? Sorry, I'm just watching it now live. This is crazy. I can't believe they're still doing this with Black Ops or even the new Call of Duties in general. 7.
Seven,
But the
Jesse.
fact that they're like having a through line with the narrative. Does anyone really care about that?
The numbers, Jesse.
What are
the
the
numbers?
numbers? How are they going to do the Roman numerals for this one? Is it going to be 7 straight lines, you think? I feel like that's what they'll do.
Psychonauts are working on a game called Keeper.
Psychonauts.
Sorry, Double Fine, my bad.
All right.
Are working on a game called Keeper, which looks pretty interesting, where you're like a little lighthouse walking, jumping around. There was a trailer for the Clockwork Revolution. What do we think of this? I didn't like the vibe of the trailer at all. The gameplay looked interesting, but the sort of the faux British humor stuff.
It was
a
very
little bit
millennial coded.
rough.
It was very.
Yeah.
I watched Red Dwarf. It was very, Faulty Towers, the game. Sure.
You're mentioning lots of things that I find funny, and I did not think this
Sorry.
was funny.
What I mean to say is, it's Americans who watched that don't get the
Okay,
jokes, but think they do, and then they made a game about it. I don't really know. I haven't played the whole thing. I think the trailer's tone, it was off, but I do think some of it looks funny. I thought, or at least interesting gameplay wise.
Yeah, I did
There's
too.
stuff there that seems, like they could, like systems that they could go cool places with. I thought the personality test stuff for the character creator at the start was fun.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Graphics as well.
looks great,
Art
yeah.
style, the direction looks very cool.
That robot cop, the only cop I'll ever say,
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
cool. No,
the
very fun.
tiny little puppet man, was that in there as
Yeah,
well?
that
Yeah.
wasn't Death Stranding 2 this time. That was something else.
You're right. Sorry, I
on the
can't
beach.
talk about Death Stranding 2, Jesse.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Sorry.
I can't.
Yeah.
That's next week. I won't be here next week. I have to record.
Yeah.
record something. I might record something on the road about
right.
Death Stranding 2.
Record
You can
something
just
on the
play
beach.
it.
We'll get you to
On the
call
beach.
in like it's a
will be-
radio show.
Yeah.
I'll be so far from a beach. I'm going to be like in
Bring the sand and water with
Wyoming
you.
or
You
something.
could do it.
Yeah. Well, the beach is actually in. Well, I can't talk about it. They also showed a new Plague Tale game that Ahsoka was working on as well, which looked interesting. And then my favorite thing of the whole weekend, I think, was the developer direct on The Outer Worlds 2, which was on right after the Xbox thing and was just 30 minutes of them talking about that game with the people who made that game. Although they also had that guy who voices Sonic pretend like he works at Obsidian. What's his name again? You know that actor?
Yeah.
That guy? Yeah.
Oh, Ben Schwartz?
Yeah,
no.
Ben Schwartz was...
Oh my God, why?
He pretended to be... He was like the head of sequels at Obsidian. It was a whole joke they had running through the developer direct. It was very weird. But the Outer Worlds 2 looks very like kind of like the thing everyone said about Outer Worlds was like, oh, it's like Obsidian made an action RPG, but like on a budget. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the areas are smaller. How much effects you can have on things is limited enough. The voice act, or the facial animations are so. It's like literally there's a part where Leonard Boyarsky comes out and goes, we're really proud of our first game in this series, but like with Outer Worlds 2, we had the time and money to make the game we wanted to. And I thought that was very funny because it's basically a way of saying, we're happy Microsoft bought us, right? But then they went on to show the game and it's like, oh no, this thing is like fucking has way more stuff in it than the Outer Worlds. And in a way that made me think, oh, I was expecting like Avowed again here. You know what I mean? Because Avowed is similarly, it's not quite Outer Worlds. It's bigger than that. I haven't played enough of it to really say for sure, but I don't want to say it's like it's that sort of restrictive.
Scale wise, for sure, it's not much bigger, than the original Outer Worlds. So.
This feels like, at least in terms of, I don't know, maybe the city sizes, the map sizes, definitely in terms of systems, like the stuff they're putting into this one seems way more cool and interesting. Like
I heard they added a 40-year-old trait where if you stand up, your knees pop really loudly.
Knees pop, yeah.
Right.
So if you're stealthy, every time you stand up, your knees pop. But
Perfect.
You can run better, I think, with that one. They still have the bad luck one and the idiot one, which is pretty good. All the science weapons stuff, they've now added like science armor and a bunch of science traits as well that you didn't have before. The guns and everything sound ridiculous. Like a lot of the science weaponry looks funny. There's a gun that levels up every time you use it. And then when it levels up, it like has a ding and fucking like lights and candy or whatever, like stuff pops out of it like a piñata. It looked cool. It looked really cool. And I was really impressed by how much was in it. And it was a game I didn't know needed a developer direct, but when I was watching it, I was like, oh no, this is a way bigger thing than I was expecting.
That's good, because communication wise, I feel like Avowed had a real problem of like people not knowing what it was or what they were going to be in for. There was a couple different versions of it, it seemed like, from a marketing perspective, until they sort of locked it down and then it came out. It
even changed its look a lot between and the key art and everything, remember, between the first time they showed it and the second time.
Exactly. So they definitely shifted direction on that a lot. So it's cool to hear that Outer Worlds 2 seems a little more defined. Is it like Starfield's problem, I feel like most people had, was that it wasn't weird enough? Does this feel like weird or does it feel more silly?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I'm fine with either. I'm just curious.
It seemed silly in that they have all like, I liked all the silliness, like the Spacer's Choice and all that stuff. And it seems like some of those companies have like melded together and there's new ones and all that's interesting.
Is there one named Activision Blizzard and one named ZeniMax?
Nice. Oh, I wonder actually. I actually wonder if that's what they were doing. That's very funny. But like, the shrinking gun in this one, in the original one, when you use it, it shrunk them down and they pop back up after like 5 seconds. In this one, they just are small forever. You've shrunk them and then you can stomp on them. So you walk past and you just step on their heads and stuff. So it's definitely doing like silliness is a big part of it for sure. I liked the humor in the first one. I don't think it was like incredible, but I really liked it. It was enough of a driving force. I liked a lot of the side kicks you had and all that stuff with them. This seems like when smart people get to make a sequel to a game and they've learned what the game is and the levers they should pull on more and the ones they should leave behind. And I'm actually a lot more excited for the Outer Worlds 2. I was definitely going to play it already, but now I'm much more excited for it after watching that. So awesome. If you're interested, it's on Xbox channel. They have it on one big video. It's like an hour and I think it's a 2 hour long video, and the second hour is basically the developer direct with Obsidian. So check that out.
I did not watch the whole presentation, but I got the sense just from the bits I checked out that it seems like silly, but also grounded in a way that is heartening to me, because like in direct contrast to High on Life 2, which is like,
I gotta admit, I thought the skateboarding looked fun. That's it. That's all I've got.
You could safely admit that here. This is a safe place to say that.
Thank you.
I just like, there is like a madcap like millennial sort of Reddity humor to High on Life that I don't really like. I mean, I'm not. If you worked on that game, obviously the technical proficiency of that game is amazing. I'm not shitting on it. I could not make
The
that
combat's
game.
pretty all right too, but yeah, the guns are annoying. Yeah.
I just like can't take that sense of humor. So it's Outer Wilds 2 seems or
Outer
God,
Worlds.
Outer
It's
Worlds.
impossible. We
Jesus
all do
Christ.
it. It's fine.
It's impossible to not do it once per episode. It seems like the silliness is like not confined to the mechanics purely, but it seems cool that they take the world seriously and then do kind of silly stuff with it. Because that's when I thought the first one worked really well. I played the first one the entire way through and like enjoyed it, but it never was like transcendent for me. Like it never felt like a Fallout game or anything like that. But
that's the problem, isn't it? Is that they've got so many games that are that you sort of you weigh it differently. But yeah, I felt similarly. It seems like what do they call the companions? The companions in this one seem a bit more grounded than in the last one. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Also, I got to say, Matt Booty being up there, love his name. Every time it's funny. Being up there and announcing we have all these new properties coming, and we've had this transmedia thing where we include Fallout show. You guys like that, right? Minecraft movie, Chicken Jockey. But then he was like, we also have a third game coming from Obsidian, and I was like, how are they doing that? This must be Pentiment 2. And then they're like, nah, it's Grounded 2. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I hear the Grounded game's good, and I'm sure this is good, but I'm just, I don't know how the hell they do it. It's really impressive how they're able to get so many games out so quickly.
I think what's happening is there are lots of games coming out of Obsidian now, and it's because I think it's scheduling. I think like the Outer Worlds team was working on this. Avowed was clearly like, I don't think that studio has grown that much. The Grounded team has been working on Grounded stuff, and then because it's a live game, so they were working on Grounded 2, I assume, while Grounded was still being worked. They ratcheted back the team required for the live part of that game. Obviously with their, I'm not even going to say the name of the series because I'm just going to get it wrong. The other one they do,
Pillars of Eternity.
See, I did it. The PoE team, I'm guessing, is moved off of that stuff now because it seems like
it's been a while.
Deadfire was out a while ago, and they all became free again. So that sort of makes sense for that stuff. And then also Obsidian has always been a team that has had really smart people and fewer of them. Like Outer Worlds was made with a small enough team as well. So I think we're just seeing a lot of them back to back now. And what's interesting now is what happens when the teams that were making Avowed and this game and the Outer Worlds 2 are free. Do they get together and make a big one together?
Well, that's what I hope is
not?
like either they're still doing big stuff or they're working on Pentiment-sized things on the side, and like they're just able to make these really cool small experiences that can only happen because of Xbox Game Pass. Thank you, Fishman.
Well, I think like Obsidian also, like in fairness, when you go back to the way Fergus and them have run that studio for the past 15 years, a lot of it has been like spreading risk and trying different things and being in different genres and having multiple projects going on. They never really bet the house on one thing that I can remember. Like they were doing the South Park stuff, like they've been savvy, and they're down in Irvine where like there is no shortage of dead studios. So like they have a lot of people who've probably been sick of working in studios that got shut down or projects that got canceled. So I think there's a sort of a pragmatism. I mean, the fact that they are Obsidian, like they came from the ashes of a different studio, right? So I that's the thing that I've always like. Even when you go to their studio, it's in the same building they've been in forever. They probably have cheap rent there. It's like cheap enough rent there, but it's not the fanciest studio in the world. It's very much drop ceiling in an office, like So I just think they're economical and smart and they produce a lot of stuff that's it makes sense that they made a second Grounded game. I guess that game seems to have done well.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the other like Grounded like game that was tiny little aliens that I thought was Grounded? That looked like like ants with a Z mixed Grounded.
Yeah, it was like is it Bugs 1,000 years from now, where there's like robot suits and like it's like sci-fi Bugs, and it's still in like a garden. I thought that was like a really interesting concept. I forget what it was called.
I can't remember either. I was hoping someone else would remember. Fuck.
Did you guys see there was like this game, it kind of looked like Infinity Nikki meets Pal World. Did
Oh,
you see
yeah.
this thing? What was it
A
called?
super gotcha game.
Just naming fake video games.
It
now.
might be from the same. It looked like it was like from the same team. I don't know, but
Of
I know-
what? Of Infinity Nikki?
No, it looked like the same. It was like.
Oh, are
is
you
this
talking
Power
about
World's new game?
Wuthering whatever
No, I think,
from
I
the
think
Real
people
Waves?
thought it was. No, it's like it's like one name and it's like a weird non-word.
Pragmata.
That does
It
fit
had
the
a-
bill of what you
It
just
had a
said.
short name. It looked like, and it had like, just J-pop or something playing behind it. It was like the most like da-na-na-na-na-na.
Aniimo.
That's it. You hit
Aniimo?
Aniimo. And then that
Aniimo.
other game was called Infinitesimals. It was the sci-fi bug one.
See, this is the problem: is there was 900 showcases, and I can't just search Summer Game Fest game announcements. I got to search the future game show.
Oh,
game, I can't remember.
I
all
had
of
to
them.
mash in on Google Power World like 2025 Summer Game Fest, and that's
Beautiful.
what
So much
Aniimo
work.
came up.
Aniimo. It's got two eyes because of course it has. Go check out the trailer. It is.
Danny, you have this superpower where you can see a video game and name it without anyone knowing what it is, and it becomes AI generated. These pictures for this game are the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I couldn't believe this.
It's up there with Inzoi for fakest
Operant
video game.
Studio.
100%. And they kept showing. The trailer starts with like CG bullshit, so you're like, oh, this game doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they end up showing you like a bunch of like really like high frame rate, high fidelity gameplay of this like weird Pal World girl turning into it's kind of a mixture of Pal World and what was that game, Tachia? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where you're like a girl
Okay.
who lives on an island who can turn into a bunch of animals and inanimate objects. Like it looks like they took Tachia, someone in Korea or Japan took Tachia, and sorry for my cultural sensitivity is that I just don't know enough about Asia, so I don't know which one this is from. But they made like a really high production value version of that and Pal World. It looks fucking cool. I don't know what to say. It looks derivative.
Are you a
but
big
it looks-
Pokemon fan, Danny? Do you like Pokemon?
No, I
No,
don't.
but
Not like
you like the like rip-off Pokemon stuff. That gets
Do
you
I?
excited. You
I
played
don't know.
Pal World. You
told-
gave it a spot
Digimon.
on Noclip
I know
Crew.
Pokemon. You know when people ask me, do I like wrestling? And it's
Sure.
like, I don't know if I like wrestling, but like I know more about wrestling than like 99% of other humans because I'm somewhat curious about wrestling and always have been. But like, and Pokemon's similar. I watched the TV show when I was a kid, but I never cared about Pokemon. I never like resonated with it, but I know a lot about it.
Who's your
You're a
favorite
Digimon
Pokemon?
kid.
Who's my favorite Pokemon? Trubbish.
That's a good answer. Who's your favorite original 150 Pokemon?
Probably Snorlax or someone boring or Psyduck. I like
No,
the
Snorlax
Psyduck's
is
good.
Psyduck. Those are
Psyduck's
both good answers.
Yeah, thank
We'll
you.
accept those. The panel will accept those.
I like
a
all the
weirdly good
noises I
Psyduck.
make.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
Is that why
it.
you
My-
liked him? Because you voiced him? Is that what it was?
Well, when you have a young girl who likes weird stuff and Pokemon ends up coming into her field of vision, then you end up doing a lot of imitations of Pokemon. So
Well, you nailed it.
her favorite is what's that one that's got 7 different versions?
Oh,
It's
Eevee.
Oh, yeah.
Eevee.
I was going to say
Yeah, is that
SG1,
it?
but that's...
Yeah, she's way into that, which is kind of like cheating. It's like that's not one Pokemon. That's like
Yeah.
know,
You need to
get
learn
it.
how to make some decisions, okay? Grow up, pick one of the evolutions. All right?
Yeah.
What's
it's
your
like
guy? What's your guys' favorite?
Umbreon, which is an Eevee evolution.
Oh, okay. Which one is it? like,
The
water
black
one?
and yellow one?
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good.
Steelers.
I really like Ditto up until
Ben
yesterday.
Roethlisberger's favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
I saw-
Ditto.
I like Ditto a lot, but I saw.
See,
a
that's
video-
even worse of a pick because that's every Pokemon.
No, because I like Ditto in his OG form.
Mhm. Yeah, we all do.
Is that the shitty looking Pikachu one?
No,
looks like the
Ditto's
chewed up gum.
He's just like a pink blob that can become other ones. But I was
Oh,
very
yeah.
sad
Oh, yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, he's just like. "Moo."
I watched
Yeah.
a video yesterday of Palmer Luckey being interviewed about his defense contractor business where they build
right.
AI driven weapons of death, and I mean I guess all weapons are weapons of death. Killer robots. He said I love killer robots. I'll use that term. And he was wearing a fucking Ditto shirt while he's like being interviewed about like murder robots.
No,
and I
see,
was
Ditto
like,
turned into Palmer Lucky. So
That's
is that
true.
better or
There's
worse?
a striking resemblance there, actually.
all right, I don't like Ditto anymore.
Sorry.
Is it
slow, bro.
Mimikyu?
You're
Is
Mr.
the-
Mime now.
Mimikyu? Is that the one that looks like a Kirkland signature Pikachu?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
You know that one?
Yeah.
I always see it in Target.
Bizarro
It's always
Pikachu.
like, it's like a fake Pikachu.
That one's cute. It has the fake eyes, like the is it the basilisk in Dark Souls has like the little tiny eyes, and then it has the big fake eyes.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it looks like the eyes are there, but they're actually somewhere else, kind of thing.
Yeah. That's a really unnecessary connection. I just had to make it.
No, I appreciate it.
You're flexing
Frank,
your
what's
Dark Souls
yours?
knowledge.
I like Ditto just because it's a pink blob with a smile on his face, and it's like, I like that.
How do we feel about Mr. Mime?
See, I love Mr. Mime. What a freak. What a creep. What a, just pervert of Pokemon.
You know, they found him in Epstein's black book, and
yeah,
after that,
100% they did. 100%. You mean
Which
the
is-
financier?
What was the blackface one again?
What?
Oh, that's
Isn't that Mr. Mime?
Jinx.
Oh,
No,
Jinx.
that's
Right.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't talk
Jinx.
about Jinx.
Yeah.
Dude,
Is
it's
Jinx
okay.
still in it?
Yeah, but
don't
now
know,
they're
do they-
now they're purple face.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, they changed it. Okay.
I feel like that doesn't.
That doesn't fix it.
That doesn't fix it.
No,
I feel
yeah,
like-
the color was only half the problem, I think. Yes, that's
Look, Japan
Yes.
has a problem drawing that. Okay, they do it a
Okay.
lot. All right.
they're like me with Korea and Japan. I don't
exactly.
know which they're
You're like it's
that
not
with-
real. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
It's a fantasy
Anyway,
land.
Aniimo, if any of that piqued your interest, talking about Pal Worlds, Infinity Nikki, Tachia, and Pokemon, and I guess Digimon by proxy.
We're
you
back,
should,
baby. Reset the timer. Okay, so the Digimon world. No,
favorite Digimon.
Who's your favorite Digimon?
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been an Agumon lover ever since growing
Don't
up.
know who that is.
Okay, that's the yellow one that looks like a dinosaur. He's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Kabuterimon because the voice actor in the bad children's version is like, "Oh, hello everyone, it's me, Kabuterimon. Where are we going?" The worst. I love Digimon because it sucks so bad. And then Terriermon, I think is his name. He like evolves into something with like guns for hands. It's so sick. That era of Digimon was like, I was 11. It was the perfect age for things to have guns for hands. It was that and Barrett. I was like, this is it. This is all I need. This is my whole aesthetic. Is big dudes with guns for hands.
Wow.
All right.
Anyone else got any favorites?
I like Terriermon because I just Googled him and he's cute.
Yeah. The coolest thing you can do with Digimon is you could say literally anything and then Mon at the end, and you're right.
I like Eggnogmon.
Anjumon, those are both somehow real Digimon based on, angels.
This is like that the old Family Guy Stephen King bit where Stephen King is at the publisher and they're like, "Steven, do you got any new books?" And he's like,
he's the lamp.
There's a lamp and it's hot." Just fucking grabbing shit off the table.
I was trying to look for stuff, but I opened up a website on fandom, so it's completely crashing my computer. Is it Ekakimon? It looks like a
Ekakimon.
pencil.
What?
Looks
I
like
don't
a
know this one.
pencil.
You may be pulling from an era I don't know.
Ekakimon. And
Oh,
then
yes. Akakimon, yes.
Yeah. Suckamon
Yep.
is the name of one.
Excuse
That's
me?
not me.
Don't
Does that have something to do with-
referencing
Is that something to do with Deep Cock Galactic? Is that,
No. Suckamon, but it looks like a yellow poop.
Oh, yeah. These are great.
Suckamon.
You would like
These look so bad.
Skewmon for the same reason.
These look so bad that they look like fan art.
Yeah. That's
But
all of
that's-
Digimon. It literally is like someone deviant arted a bunch of random shapes and then they just put it in the show and they were like, do it. Go.
Jesse, did you say Gargomon? Was that one of yours?
Gargomon. Hold on.
Gargomon is what appears to
Gargamel?
be a dog
yes.
cosplaying as Barrett from Final Fantasy VII.
Exactly.
wearing
Gargomon
jeans.
is the evolution of Terriermon. Yeah. With the
Okay.
guns for hands.
Oh my God, you're right.
I'm a big Gargomon guy.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm
I like that
not
it
kidding,
says
Barrett.
in his personal information on his wiki, it says partner Henry Wong, and I assume that means
Yeah.
the human that works with him. But I like
Yeah.
to imagine that's like his husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Married to Henry
partner?
Wong.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so the Digimon's whole thing, like Pokemon, is that the Digimon have human partners, and the stories tend to talk
Like
about
they
them a little bit
date?
too much. No, they hang out. They're roommates, and they've been living together for a long time. They're not dating.
So this is their
cover
way of
story.
saying this isn't cockfighting.
Exactly. Yes, that's how they get away with it. They're friends with the Digimon, and then sometimes when things get very serious and tense, they fuse with the humans, and they gain extra
what?
powers.
I
Watch
was-
Digimon the movie.
I was about to take it. I'm glad you went there because I was about to say Mega Gargomon is the bio-merged form of Henry and Terriermon.
Yep.
which-
Henry Wong.
Now, of course, Henry is the second partner of Gargomon or Terriermon because he was originally with Willis from the Digimon the movie.
they broke up.
He created the
What you
egg
talking about?
that turned into Diaboromon.
Are you telling me that Henry Wong turned into a Digimon and they didn't call him Wongmon?
They can't do that.
It was right there.
Did you Wong?
They've already got
Wongmon.
Sakumon, all right? They gotta tone it down a little bit. Sakumon. Sounds like a French guy.
I want to bond with you.
Sukumon.
I want to bio-merge with you, dude.
Also, Gargomon's attribute, vaccine.
Excuse me?
Yeah, they have attributes, and for whatever reason, Gargomon's is vaccine. So he's not a, you know who's not a fan of him? That's right. RFK.
Half of America.
Folks, they're giving the force of the Gargomon upon Americans.
They're making Gargomon take COVID-19 vaccines. We don't like
us
it.
take Gargomon.
I've always been more of a Sakuman.
After he merged with Henry Wong, I wasn't a fan.
Oh man, I'm a big fan of Metal Garurumon.
These are terrible impressions.
Jesse,
Yeah, that's the whole point.
I think Jesse's Trump is great.
It has to be bad.
I like
it can't be good. If you're doing it well, then you're doing it wrong.
There's something wrong. There's something wrong.
Oh,
No, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Okay.
we love Asia, folks. We
got to the end. That's it. Finally
Xbox
happens.
announced Persona 4 remake. They've confirmed it.
Yes.
So I'm very,
Dude,
very.
here's
very
the thing, though.
excited for
Okay,
that.
I'm with
did
you.
not
I
see
love
that.
Persona 4. That is my favorite Persona because it's also my first Persona. Did that footage not look wrong? Like, not like, oh wow, they made it the modern version. It just looked like a very last second trailer. They had that one street
Oh, funny.
Agreed.
from Persona, and then the you was just walking around in there, and it just kind of looked like
Yeah,
Unreal hire this man kind of thing.
I think it was very early. Yeah, even trying to track down assets, like they don't have that footage available. It's like
It really
just
looked like
screenshots.
Yuri Lowenthal just was like, I'm not in the game, and they were like, ah shit, we gotta make a trailer. I don't know,
But I'm
hire
like,
some intern.
it'll take me 6 years to finish Meta 4, and like I'm still playing Persona 3, so it's like great, it's coming at some point. I'm cool with it. And then yeah, they also showed the trailer for Tony Hawk 3-4, and they confirmed Bam Margera is in it.
It was
wow.
it was
New
playable somewhere, not at SGF, but somewhere else, because we know some people that went to play it. But I'm not sure what the embargo is on any of that, so we'll keep our mouth shut. I have played the demo. If you buy the game, if you pre-order it or whatever, you can play the demo on Steam. We're going to do a quick look of it later today. It's probably going to be a pretty short, quick look, like a quick look, would you believe? Because it's literally the hangar, and then I think it's is it the school from 4, I think?
College.
Thank you. College, yeah. But it's just 2-minute free play. There's no objectives. You're just jumping around, and you can play as Tony Hawk, one of the new young female skaters, or the Doom Marine. So who's like riding around on a little Doom skateboard. It's got some songs in it. It's got Del the Funky Homo Sapiens in the demo, so I'm happy.
All right.
You must. Yeah. So we'll do some of that later on too. Anything else?
I think that's
Anything
it.
else?
That felt like a lot. So,
Monument Valley 3.
oh, there was something else in Xbox. It had like a funny name. It was like a lot of words.
Beast of Reincarnation.
No, hold on. Xbox Showcase long name game.
Long name game.
I bet that'll work.
AI can't help you now, Jesse.
ChatGPT. Come on, help me. It doesn't matter. I'll find it eventually. We can move on.
Nothing about Fable, was there?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Anything.
There was some Gears of War madness. Oh my God, did you see that the fucking... Oh, we didn't talk about Splitgate too either.
There are no ghosts at the
yeah.
Grand. That's what it was called. That looked really cool.
Oh, that did look really cool.
Yeah.
Yes, that looked really interesting. What was the gameplay again? It was like you were doing up the hotel, but there were like... It seemed like a...
I thought it was going to be a 2-point thing
wallpaper
at the start.
simulator, but it was... Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a first person. It looks like an
person.
escape room kind of thing almost. But you
Yeah.
have that like power tool, like power wash simulator, but like if it was a game and not like something to just make your brain turn into goo.
Yeah, it looked really, really neat.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by the look of it and the animation and stuff.
No hate on Power Wash Simulator. I think those games are fine.
No, not at all. But it just, there's something about those games where I just, when I say those games to somebody, I assume that they think that they're also the game that I'm comparing it to is lo-fi, whereas this seemed like it had like production value, I guess.
For sure, yeah.
What did you make of the? Oh yeah, so the what's it called again? Fucking MindsEye. The MindsEye trailer had an acoustic version of Mad World.
No,
yeah.
you're
Oh my
kidding.
God.
What?
Yeah.
I could not
Why?
believe it.
That's like
I
the
thought it was
worst thing you could
2004 all
do.
over
Yeah,
again.
that's such a bad idea. It's like such a notorious song.
Unbelievable, unforgivable.
Yeah.
It felt tonally to me like like if that was when they revealed that MindsEye was a parody of that
Yeah,
of like a
totally.
2005 ass game. That
Like, it
would
was
be
me a
when they
Goat
reveal
Simulator
it.
4 or something. Like, that's what you do there.
Yeah, but they just deadpan and dead ass.
That's crazy.
Some people were complaining that Splitgate 2 used Imagine Dragons, which just only because Imagine Dragons is so ubiquitous as well with game trailers.
It's okay. This one's different. It's different from the rest of them. I promise. Here's the most generic thing we could find on planet Earth. Imagine Dragons does a video game song.
I don't think I have ever seen the goodwill towards a developer flip as fast as it has done on Splitgate.
So
It's
I talked
so
to him at
bizarre.
PAX East.
Right.
I thought we had a decent conversation. I didn't get the vibe that he would wear a dumb hat like that.
Right.
But a lot of the conversation sort of centered around like content. He was very excited about the content coming to this game. We have a lot of content. People are going to be shocked by how much content there is. And like wanting to make a great game that overpowered all these stuff. But then he started talking money and people. And I remember it getting like into big dollar amounts and big staff numbers. And all I can imagine is how do you sleep? And this is not me trying to criticize the guy necessarily, but how do you sleep at night knowing that you just burned like $200 million plus because you wore a dumb hat on stage?
Who knows how many people watch this thing and care?
Yeah.
I have always had the understanding that these guys were from, did they go, they're all Stanford guys or something? Like I know one of them, I don't even want to get into specifics. There was a time where we might have done something on Splitgate 1 because it was such this crazy overnight success, similar to Valheim. I wanted to sort of figure out what was going on. But they instantly, obviously, they shelved Splitgate 1 to a certain extent and decided to work on the sequel. And I can understand the logic of that because the first game, this happened with Valheim, and I've seen it happen in other games where it kind of got away from them. So they were only ever going to be playing catch up with it.
Exactly.
And that's a really like difficult thing. You can spend 3 years burning the candle at both ends, trying really hard to catch up with the user base and never getting there and then being wrecked by the end of it. Exactly. So I was like, it actually, you know what? This isn't the worst idea. Just say like, look, we're going to do that and then we're going to work on our one over here and then we will meet you at the pace that you are at, like, which makes sense, I think. But I think what I imagine what happened then is that I'm sure they had money to work on the first game, but it seemed like it was like a small team, like 4 of them, I think mostly. I heard that they were up working in Tahoe. And so I was like, oh, okay, they're probably wealthy enough then or something, or they're, because it's a weird place to be working, or maybe they're from there. I couldn't really tell. But I think what happened is that they got a bunch of seed money from somebody, and like, the only people who are giving money in tech are usually people who are really insufferable and want to work with, like, they want to see what your live service thing is. They want to compete with Call of Duty. They want to see what your AI thing is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it seems like I don't know if that was always what they were trying to do with the first Splitgate. I can't tell. It seemed to be coming from a place of we want to bring back like kind of arena shooters and Halo.
Make FPS great again. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of, and the thing about the hat is like those hats. I think you can wear that hat and be an idiot, be a myopic dum-dum who's not actually right wing. Like, I don't know what his politics are. I don't really care. Honestly, like the hat was stupid and sort of like weirdly like 2019. Like the whole thing seemed like that, and the trailer and everything. It felt like, the fuck are we doing here? So the hat is like, obviously I'm no fan of those red hats, but
doesn't help what's happening right outside of the expo as well.
Yeah,
but
it's very myopic. I don't know. Maybe I'm being generous, but like I maybe it was more stupid than anything else. But what he said was the most bizarre thing.
Denigrating his colleagues in the space of like,
like,
all the games you make suck. Call of Duty's bad.
And if you're going to do that, and like, hey, look, you know what? It'd be great if Call of Duty took a break or did something else. But then to come out and say, like, we made this game because we want Titanfall 3 and no one's going to make it. And then they come out with their announcement saying that it's a fucking battle royale mode, which is literally the reason why Titanfall 3 doesn't get made, is because Apex Legends exists. Mm-hmm. Like, it seemed like he got up on that stage to basically try and curry favor with as many like dum-dums as possible. Like, this is what happens when you take dumb fuck internet logic and attempt to do it in the real world, everyone clowns on you. You look like a fool. Like it seemed so unnecessary. And then to do that, so like I was on the Splitgate subreddit and they're all like, fuck man, why did he do that? Like they're all like embarrassed by it, you know? And like saying, oh, they said it was going to be bigger than a campaign and it's a battle royale mode. Like that's the thing that you put in the game.
A lot of content in that though.
A lot of
your head
content.
spin.
It did
a lot of money, opportunities. Yeah,
I agree 100%. I don't think he was going out there and being like, this is my right wing heel turn. Like it did not. That's not how I perceived it at all. I just think it was sort of like you said, a myopic misjudgment of how that would be received. I think that I don't know. I feel like if most of the discourse you perceive about games is in these sort of like devs bad, like reactionary game sort of like discourse circles, echo chambers, I feel like you'd write that script or have that idea to say those things and be like, yeah, this is going to be like my visceral, like this is my like Trump moment where even if you don't like Trump, like he just goes up and like lies about shit and people are like, that's why people who support him like him is because
he speaks his mind. He
shoots from the hip even if it's exactly. And so I think he thought this was going to be his moment where he's like, I'm just going to shoot straight and be like, fuck those guys, we rock, and everyone was going to like carry him out there on his shoulders. And it just didn't work out that way because it's like, I don't know, most people see through the kind of like devs bad reactionary stuff and it's
ultimately they're selling you something, right? It's a game. They want your money and they're selling it. Like politics, they sell you an idea, but you never get it, right? It's an ethereal thing that maybe you feel like you got at some stage, but like at the end of the day, they're selling you a fucking product. So you can do that and you can be that guy, but the game needs to back it up.
Yeah, you got to deliver. You can be like a.
I think Splitgate 2 is pretty good, actually. By the way, the gunplay feels good, but sorry.
Yeah,
I haven't played it yet. I've just seen some folks online complaining that it seems less portal shootery, arena shootery than it was.
Yeah, it's a lot more Halo.
Yeah, you can basically be the most insufferable person imaginable as long as you're delivering the goods. And if
Palmer Lucky.
Yeah, you can wear your fucking Ditto shirt and your little flip flop. Also, I've not to bring back Palmer Lucky, but I do think it's weird that the two largest like private defense contractors are both named after Tolkien things. They're Anduril, which is Palmer Lucky's thing, and Palantir.
Yeah,
it's just weird that like Anyway, sorry, I was reading a lot.
It makes a change from Atlas Shrugged references, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'll take Tolkien over Ayn Rand. Although Ayn Rand I fucking hate, so if there's like evil technology named after her stuff, I don't really care.
Yeah, I haven't played Splitgate 2 yet. I'm nothing against the game, but just from a Summer Games Fest perspective, it just seemed like such an unnecessary own goal. Like I wonder what the fallout internally is on that one, because
I can't fathom the hat. That's the thing that I don't get. It's not like the text on there; it's the production of the hat. It's like a lot had to go into making that, in terms of like figuring out the text, what's going to be on there. You have to believe there was a version of that said "Make shooters great again," and then they went,
That's true.
What was it? Make FPS.
Make FPS.
So I think,
I do have to say two things. Number one, I was talking to some of my like friends who are outside of Games Press and just, play like fucking WoW and Valorant and CS, and that's kind of their relationship to games. And they did not have the same visceral, guttural rejection of that joke that people inside Games Press did. So that's one thing of note. The other thing is that like, I think when you make a joke referencing real world divisive political issues like this, I think that the problem is like, I have a friend who I've played FPS games with since I was a little kid, and we have literally made the joke about make FPS great again. But it's in the context of the fact that both of us like know that neither of us wants to fucking deport people without due process, and neither of us are like. When he says that joke, I don't think like, oh, is he like secretly a fascist? Because there's a shared sort of social context in which that joke is made, where it's like undercutting that as like it's trivializing the actual sentiment of make America great again. But like, nobody watching this press conference knows that dude personally. And so it is the ambiguity in like, is it parody? Is it sincere? Is it deadpan?
I think even if they did, it's that sort of messaging is just like, it was bound to be bad. Like, I think Tim Schafer could have come out with that hat on and it would have been the same reaction. People would have been like, if you know that this is dumb, why would you wear that hat?
I agree.
It would have been.
I'm not saying that if everyone knew him personally as a public figure, it would have worked. I think it as soon as you do it in a public forum, it like removes the opportunity to have that sort of like necessary shared social fabric to push boundaries like that.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
like people hate when you say, "Oh, the context is important," because then it seems like, "Oh, you're just saying that so you can try to explain away this problem." Put it this way: I totally agree, Jeremy, that like who is wearing that hat, or wearing that hat itself is like. Put it this way: you know the way like T-shirts you buy that like say things on them, like say like I'm with stupid or like whatever the fuck it is. Have you guys ever worn any of those shirts?
Yeah,
that
all the
say-
time.
Do you really?
Yeah, I wear one that says I'd rather be effing, but like it's got fish hooks on it, so up to you.
Okay, that's
I
pretty
love
good.
that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I would say most people who wear those, I see them at like the boardwalk in Rehoboth Beach, or like, you know what I mean? They're innocent enough usually, like, because you don't know anything about the person who's wearing that thing. Like, the minute you have anything provocative on your t-shirt or a cap or whatever, and you're walking around, you're doing it to rile people up. Like either that, or you are so emotionally immature and so emotionally unintelligent that you don't realize that people don't know you and don't know what you like and don't have the context of why you're wearing that. So he falls into, this is like the case I feel like with a lot of this sort of shit, is like people are either stupid, like they either don't know or they're doing it on purpose. And I can't tell with him. I assume he was probably doing it on purpose to be edgy, to try and get the game to stand out, is what I imagine. It seems like such a weird old type of thing to do. And I'm with you. Like, I'll make jokes about,
Yeah, absolutely.
like, we've said it on this thing, but like people know that, yeah, we're
How many times have we
also-
said deep cock galactic? We don't care. We'll do whatever on here.
And it's like, and almost like talking about it this long is almost like part of the problem, because like we are talking about it and stuff. But yeah, it just seemed, very just ill-considered. And
I think it's
unnecessary. Like, let the game speak for itself.
Yeah.
Shout out the people who made, like, all the people who worked on this fucking game. Like, and this is the thing. Like, oh, don't play with fire. You get burned sometimes, and it's such an unnecessary way to get burned. Like, there was no need for it. It was just, it seems so, ill-conceived. Just disappointing, I think. Embarrassing and disappointing.
I know we've given it like a lot of airtime. I do think it is like an interesting thing to unpack, because it is like it flopped so fucking hard, and I think that bears interesting analysis of like what the intention could be behind that, and like how it could never fucking work. Like, no matter what the intention is, it's just like it flopped for a billion.
It doesn't help
reasons
that the lens was already on LA for the ICE raids and then the riots that took place afterwards. Like that didn't help. He couldn't have picked the worst time to do it.
Yeah,
but I don't know if there was a much better time that he could have done it since January of this year.
You know, I don't know if you had this reaction. I think this is I don't know. We all have our own reaction to this, and obviously, like, there are certain things, like, I just don't get angry at people who are dumb as much anymore. But I remember when I saw it, I just felt embarrassed and awkward, and like I didn't feel angry or anything.
It felt
I just
like a
felt
Spike VGA's thing, like the sort of thing that would escape video games, and people would be like, "Oh, they're still like this, aren't they? Huh? Yeah. When's Joel McHale going to come out and call someone a slur? You know?
It did feel like a hat you'd see at a booth with like booth babes. You know what I mean?
100%. Splitgate booth babes coming soon.
Anyway, yeah. So I'll try and play that game at some stage. When did it come out? Was it last week?
Middle of May, so a couple weeks.
Okay.
like May
There's so much
22nd.
stuff to play. Jesus, we're gonna have some quick looks of Mario Kart as well coming up this week, and or at least some stage we're recording them this week. We'll see when we get them up. There's a lot of videos coming out. Anything else? I think we're gonna have to pass on the emails this week, Frank. We might have to knock these to next week if that's all right. We've had a lot going on. Are you guys doing a podcast next week, and then we'll do the bonus one the week after? Does that make sense?
Sure, I won't be here for that one.
You
Would be
won't
the only
here.
thing.
Next week?
Week after next.
Oh, the week after next.
Actually, you know what? No, I can be here for that. That's fine. I can make it.
I don't know. I
Otherwise,
won't be around,
me and
unfortunately.
Frank and I will
Fortunately
click
for you
around
guys.
Tokyo on Google Maps and be like,
Honestly,
"Oh, I wonder if that place has good ramen."
I want that
Just
so
for 2
bad.
hours.
Just talk about Japan for 2 hours. That would be amazing.
Was there anything else? Oh, you played Deltarune, didn't you?
Yes, I played Deltarune Chapter 3. I've not played Chapter 4 yet. Deltarune got its Steam release with Chapters 1 through 4. I believe
Sick.
the game, when it's complete, will be 8 chapters, I want to say.
How much is it?
It is $24.99
Wow, what a
for
steal.
4 chapters.
very
I don't know
reasonable.
how much gameplay there is for that. I feel like Chapters 1 and 2 were like 4 to 6 hours or something like that, depending on how much extra stuff you do. I went through Chapter 3 way faster than I expected. I think it was like 3.5 hours, but I definitely missed a couple little side things. I really enjoy it. I love Toby Fox. I feel like the stuff that he works on and that he obviously collaborates with a lot of people. Oh, actually, funny story. Splendid Land, the developer who did Formless Star, also contributed on some of the Deltarune games and was in the credits for Deltarune Chapter 3.
Oh, sick.
That's what it was.
Nice one.
Cool.
Contributed some pixel art, I believe, for this, and also for Chapter 2. I don't know about Chapter 1. But anyway, Chapter 3 was delightful. It was funny. It was bizarre, surreal. If you've never played Undertale or Deltarune and you like RPGs at all, please do yourself a favor and play both of them. And I assume Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2 are still available for free out there because they've been free up till this point. But yeah, I won't say anything specific about Chapter 3 because there's no way you could talk about the third chapter in a series without getting spoilery.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's delightful. It's funny. It's great as always.
I feel like if you're going to play Deltarune, you know you're going to play Deltarune at this stage. Frank, did you say there was one thing you didn't cover?
Oh, I guess I did want to say just about Summer Games Fest. I was very surprised and positively overwhelmed by how many people approached us, complimenting like the work of Noclip, even complimenting the podcast, crew stuff, everything. And it was like, oh my god, like I don't
Thank
like.
you so much, everyone.
We talk about this a lot, where it's like I like especially for me. I come here hanging. I'm talking with Jeremy, Jesse, and Danny, but it's like I'm always like not oblivious, but I'm just I think in terms of like I don't want to stress myself out. Be mindful that there's many people watching and listening to this. If I think about it, I'll freak out. So I'm just like I don't think about it. But people coming up and saying they like. I was even blown away when I introduced myself to Jeff Gersman. And it's like, oh yeah, the Stardom hat. I know you. And I was like, he goes, he said like, I've seen your wrestling streams, and like I was like, oh god, no one should know about.
He's
this.
like, I'm a sicko too.
Yeah. So like we had Jordan from Heart Machine was a really nice dude who worked on Black Mesa and all the Heart Machine stuff, and just the guys at like Patapon were huge fans, and just like everyone we spoke with was like, oh, it's just kind of like that refilling the cup of like, oh man, like I don't know, very very like great like validation, and just I also just I don't know, that's why I like these spaces, meeting people, talking to developers, because I work at my computer, I'm always at my computer, that I get like so it erodes like my mental well-being, not specifically this, but just so seeing people and being like, oh, this matters, oh, there's an actual global community of people who play games, make games, and stuff like that, and it's just like, oh, this is awesome. So that was very nice. Thank you to anyone who said hello, and yeah, that was awesome.
I'm really
Yeah,
glad to
good
hear
for the ego, you know, when you're wandering around. It is. I came back and said the same thing to my wife, where I was like, you know, we just work in our bedrooms, so it's really, it's, you know, it's calming, I think. Sorry, Jesse, you don't work in your bedroom. It's calming when I don't know, when people are mention stuff like, you know, I had a guy, typical stuff, guy comes up and goes, that Doom 2016 doc was, you know, goated, and you're like, thanks so much, have you watched anything else in the past 8 years?
Yeah, every time I talk to someone, it's Final Fantasy 14. I'm like, I swear we did other ones, I swear.
I had a guy come up and say he really enjoyed the Dwarf Fortress series, so that made me happy. Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff like that. And yeah, it was cool just to like chat to people. Like everyone's always so interested to work and do stuff, and like I think they were like, when you're starting the new thing, they know about what we're trying to do with Crew, and there was lots of folks interested in doing stuff with us, or giving us access to games early, or doing preview stuff. We had a fun chat with Keely on the way out on Saturday as well. We joked about Gabe's boat. Did you see that?
Yeah,
His yacht was in San Diego or something.
Bizarrely, it was off the coast of like Catalina or something. So it was like outside LA. And he's never around. In fact, like, you know, we've had to send people to film on the boat and stuff like that. Shout out to Ole. So we were, you know, it's never on the West Coast, so it genuinely was really crazy when it was off the coast during this, and everyone was expecting some crazy Gabe turns up at SGF with a crowbar moment. So I said it to Keely. He was like, yeah, that was crazy that he was right off the the thing. He thinks he's at like a different conference or something in town, or I don't know. He was in Vallejo a couple of days ago, Jeremy. So he was up in our hood up here.
He should have maneuvered the boat to make a 3 on his way.
There was a shot on of a look kind of more like the crowbar maybe. Whoa. But people were trying to exactly.
People are just reading the tea leaves at this point.
Yeah, of his
the 3 leaves.
Oh,
there you go.
So, hey, sorry, not to cut back to the Splitgate stuff. It turns out Ian, the guy who did that, made an apology video. I don't know what it says, but
oh really?
Yeah, 16 minutes ago, just dropped.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
He heard us. He's listening to this podcast.
I don't know. It's on Twitter, so I have no idea. Oh, you see that too, Jeremy or Frank? Sorry,
it was posted on Reddit because I was looking. It was posted on Reddit. Yeah, like an hour ago. It's like a 3-minute thing, and he's gonna do an AMA tomorrow. So
really?
Yeah.
So
crap.
It became enough of a problem, I guess.
Yeah. Some VC people were like, "Hey, man, can you not?"
No, I bet they were like, "Yeah, fucking go, do it again."
Good point.
As on another one last nugget, and I'll probably talk about it in my video. But one thing I was so eager to do, and this is very indulgent, but I was happy to do it, is like I took appointments with all Japanese developers in studios so I could practice Japanese.
Oh, cool.
So it was very like fun, like in meeting developers and just being, oh, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And there was like a few that were like, hello, nice to meet you. And I was like, oh, like bilingual too, but they were very nice and complimentary on my Japanese. And like even we played the Pragmata demo and walking out, I was like, oh, atsukare, subarashi. And they like were smiled like, oh, awesome. So that made me so happy. And like one of the translators was like, your Japanese is excellent. And it's like, I only know 10 words, but still,
but he nails those 10 words.
You're like those guys on the street. Like, I know what language you're speaking. I know 10 words.
It's the Xiaoma of Summer Game Fest.
Like the Luminous director. It was just like, I don't know. And then later I played a different game and there was a Russian developer. And so like I was able to talk fluently with him. That was, and like, I feel like there was code switching, like because there's just 2 Russian guys talking, and it was like, oh, okay, this is like, so I don't know, man. It felt so fun just to practice languages. Where it was like, oh, this is cool. But it was a dream come true to be able to like be in a room and interviewing Capcom developers, but also like showing them. I like showed my my phone case has Capcom. I'm like, oh, Capcom Ichiban, like just saying like they're the best studios. So tell me, what's it like working for Capcom? So like, I don't know. It was
awesome.
They seemed appreciative of the fanboy. So it was.
Can I just say I have gone to like many and closed doors demo at E3 or otherwise. Sitting beside Frank Howley is the way to do it. Like sitting beside Frank, because like they're like, okay, and we're gonna have Onimusha, and the gameplay is about to start, and people are like, okay, clap, 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 and then Frank is like, yeah. It's such a good time.
It breaks them a bit too. Like they're always surprised, but like they need that energy. And I've interviewed so many like musicians, wrestlers, comedians, and it's like they're looking for that. And same thing as a streamer, like when we upload quick looks, I'm excited for people to be like, hell yeah, new, J-Boys are back. Like I like don't mask your enthusiasm, please.
Yeah.
It's so it's so fun to do that. So to geek out was awesome. And
that's great.
Let's quickly move on. I think your Riverside was having trouble earlier, and now Frank's voice is getting a little bit choppy, so I'm worried we're gonna.
That's fine to me.
Good for me.
Kill this thing. Oh, is it? Oh, maybe it's my internet then.
You're dying.
Let's do the top 2 emails here, Frank. We'll squeeze these ones in if that's all right. First one from Cartooner.
Yeah, if you want to send us emails, podcast@noclip.video, or you can write to us in our podcast channel and our Patreon Discord. Cartooner wrote to us, as more games like Moonlighter, Monaco, and Super Meat Boy shift from 2D pixel art to full 3D, do you think anything gets lost in that transition, stylistically or emotionally? I'll just say my kids are not hyped on Moonlighter 2, and it mostly has to do with no longer being chunky pixels.
Very good question.
Hyper Light Breaker is another good example, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot to that.
Yeah, no, but just the studio working on stuff that was not 2D afterwards. I definitely think you lose something. I think the reason why studios do it though is they're hoping they gain something on the other side. There's things that you can do in those games that is very limited, especially when it's top down. Like Monaco's an interesting one where like. Production-wise, sometimes it's just easier to do stuff in 3D than it is 2D, just because of the nature of models and lighting and stuff like that. The Meat Boy one is very interesting because that's like straight up, like Team Meat are working on that. So like now nobody who was part of the original Super Meat Boy is working on it, not half of them. So I don't know. The Meat Boy one seemed like a little bit cash-in-y to me. I don't know.
I liked how it looked, but I get what you mean. Yeah, it did feel a little bit like almost like a mobile game that sort of expanded out a little too far, and then like it looks really good. But yeah, no, it is tough. It was that joke about the transition from 2D to 3D. It's like everybody had a hard transition from 2D to 3D except for Nintendo. So there's a similar problem there technically of like how do you translate some of this stuff? And it seems like it's not a problem exclusive to technological advancements. It's just going from 2D to 3D, you lose stuff. Even if you keep the perspective, like in Moonlighter's situation, it's like there's something about it that goes away. And I can't quite nail what it is. I don't know if it's stylistic or if it's technological. If maybe it's leaning a little bit too hard on like default lighting stuff in certain engines and letting the engine sort of define certain aspects that maybe 2D artists don't consider when it comes to 3D. Not entirely sure, but I know that can be the case for a lot of beginners or even intermediaries who know how to use Unity and Unreal. They end up relying on some default stuff. So maybe that's part of it, but I don't know necessarily.
This is something I have thought a lot about as someone who's been working on a project for multiple years that started as pixel art and now is 3D. I think you definitely gain and lose sort of intangible qualities with each. I think when it comes to like purely as an audience, I think it has a lot to do with expectation, both in terms of the specific franchise, like Moonlighter to obviously a sequel that started as pixel art, but also like genre-wise, Moonlighter was leaning very heavily into this sort of like evoking, Game Boy Advance and Super Nintendo games and that era of action RPGs and sort of like a Link to the Past adjacent style of nostalgic feel to it. I think for a sort of counterexample, like Death's Door, because Death's Door is an original game, not a sequel. I think now if they made a Death's Door 2 and it was pixel art, going in that direction, you would also feel the loss of something. Yeah. And so I think that the transition creates a situation in which you are negating something that came before, and that can create the feeling of loss. But I think that like when you start as one thing, it feels like that is the intended perspective, medium, aesthetic, etc.
Death's Door is also a good example, I think, of them solving the problem Jesse talked about in terms of like the art direction on Death's Door, or like a game like Dredge. Like there are some games that have a sort of, I don't know, minimalist painterly feel that works, that feels handcrafted. Hades, weirdly enough, kind of does it too, even though it's obviously a lot busier and there's so much more going on. But like, yeah, when you like a lot of games when they do 3D, it feels, just it doesn't have the same artistic quality to it.
Yeah, like obviously, sorry, go ahead.
I can see in Monaco why they'd want to go that direction purely because of like how light works in both of those games. Yeah. I mean, you feel it, right? When you see a trailer for a game that's in 3D that you saw a 2D version of at one stage, it doesn't feel the same. And if you feel it, then that's real, That's,
it's a problem in anime. It's like you see a classical 2D studio make a 3D animated anime, and I'm like, ugly. It's like it still looks fine. They've been getting better and better at it all the time, but the artistry disappears for some reason, even though it obviously doesn't. Like 3D animators are still incredibly talented and they do amazing work, but there's something about it just feels wrong. It just feels like you didn't try as hard. Where's the cell paintings? This isn't Ghibli. This is bad because it's in 3D. I hate it, even though it's still
and then some people figure out the problems. Like Enter the Spider-Verse obviously did a bunch of stuff to sort of fix that weird feeling we have. It's like an uncanny valley or something. I don't know what it is.
It like mixes the two styles even, which is
which Ghibli also does. There are some beloved Studio Ghibli films that are like sort of early or examples of early adoption of mixing 2D and 3D as well.
Ponyo, I think, right? Was one of the big ones.
I feel like even Princess Mononoke might have some very early. I can't remember what was the first one, but it was like 90s 2000s cusp that there was some very early examples. But it was used in a restrained fashion to achieve very specific things, not as a carte blanche to expedite the animation process. Totally.
Yeah.
Next one, Frank.
Bugger Lungs from our Discord wrote in.
Wow, it's a great name.
Listening to the discussion of EverQuest and Crewcast 230, I wanted to share the experience of my 63-year-old gamer dad at EverQuest OG. Upon European release in early 2000, my dad picked up a copy of EverQuest for me, my brother, and himself from Electronics Boutique. I would have been 9 years old, my brother 7. I created an elf ranger, Dig It, and my dad a half-elf druid named Warzel. We were fortunate with my dad's work that we had multiple PCs in a tiny room in my childhood home.
Wow.
Friends would come over and we would create new characters and run around the plane slaying rats and snakes. The room got a stank in the summers as we became teenagers. I recall my dad spending late nights raiding with his US-based guildmates, coordinated via online forums. 25 years later, my dad is still playing Warzone in the 1999 classic EverQuest project.
Wow.
Officially, EverQuest continues to release regular expansions, now on to number 32.
Didn't know that.
They release new expansions every 6 months from 2000 to 2007, 14 expansions in 7 years, and explains the memories I have of all the expansion box art. The main theme tune especially is a huge nostalgia pill. Their question, what theme tunes take you back to the good old gaming times?
Man, I didn't know there was a question coming. I just
Yeah,
thought
I
it was
thought
a
it was just a
cool
good story.
story.
Yeah.
That's an amazing, what a lucky way to grow up, like
Yeah.
with playing video games with your dad and your bro in a room. That's so cool. I love it. Video game tunes.
Big
Go for folks.
Iron, Big Iron. Anytime I hear anything from the Fallout New Vegas soundtrack, I feel compelled to turn it on. It's just such a,
Beautiful.
yeah, it's not original music, but it's good.
Somebody may make a documentary about that.
They should, you're right.
I listen to a lot of JRPG soundtrack mixes, and it's now become. I've heard so many mixes that I have nostalgia for games that I've never played.
Yep.
So it's all become blended together.
Oh,
I
beautiful.
sometimes listen to compilations of the Final Fantasy XI soundtrack, an MMORPG I've never played.
It's good music, though.
and it'll move me to tears. Yeah, I don't know. There's a weird association between video game music I associate with places, even if they're not places that I've visited, and it adds a weird emotional quality to them.
Yeah, like I love orchestral music, especially because I've found that love because of the Super Mario Galaxy games. I think Gusty Garden Galaxy or whatever that song's called. It's just one of the greatest orchestral pieces of all time, perhaps.
Wow.
Some may argue.
Strong
Get out of the way, Bach. Get out of the way.
Mozart.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit, Debussy. Get out of my face.
Debussy.
But there's I had a similar experience to you where I listened to video game music, relaxing video game tunes. Thanks all those channels that illegally upload music. And there's a song from Paper Mario, the first one, I think the Sun Tower theme. And when I played the game for the first time, I couldn't remember where that song was from, but I played the game for the first time, got to that point, I heard the song, and like every stressful day that I ever had working while listening to that song came over me all at once, and I was like, "Oh
Opposite
my god!"
feeling.
Oh, whoa, weird. Like I have a nostalgia for this song that had nothing to do with the game.
PTSD song.
Exactly.
That is why I'll never use a song I like as an alarm clock, because it's like
yeah.
the anti-Pavlovian response where I'll hear it and then panic.
I was lucky that I grew up without Nintendo, and I grew up with the console, the video game computer, with arguably the best sound card of all time, the Commodore Amiga, used by many a European techno or dance music aficionado to create 6 songs, and all the music on the Amiga was fucking banging. If you want to listen to one track that sells the whole thing, check out the Alien Breed 2 main theme. It is fucking legit. We should all have a listen to it after I see you're typing it in. It's a beautiful thing. Maybe that should be the podcast outro music this week or something. It's fucking dope. Once it gets kicking, it's really great. So yeah, it had a great sound card. So that's one for me. It's fucking, it goes crazy, man. Frank, what about you?
For me, similar to like EverQuest, it's like the World of Warcraft like login screen, but like dun 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 dun, and then like Elwyn Forest music, like because my routine in high school, I'd come home and like I would usually take a nap immediately, but I would before doing homework, I would play like 2 to 4 hours of World of Warcraft, and like my friends and I just kept making alts in Elwyn Forest. We would role play, we would troll, we would do like it was just infinite, like Westfall, Elwyn, like Stormwind, like. That was where I hung out. Like that was my after school curricular. It was World of Warcraft. So like, yeah. And it's so funny because when I was playing WoW, I'd either be on Skype with friends or just listening to like Devo or other music. But now, now I listen to the WoW soundtrack and I'm like, oh yeah, it's like 2005 again. And so that specifically, like, there's an infinite range of incredible video game music, but like, yeah, the WoW music I can specifically like just puts me in that time and place.
I'm gonna cheekily jump in one more really quickly, which is the this was like a religious experience for me when GTA 5 came out. I think I've talked about this before. I went to Oxford Circus, bought it at midnight, came to the GameSpot UK offices and started streaming it. And when that game was installing, obviously Tangerine Dream did the soundtrack to that game, but they had one of their old songs, Mona Da Vinci, playing when the game was installing and cycling through all the stuff. And I remember just being like, oh my God. Like I was like sucked in. Like I fucking love Tangerine Dream now and listen to lots of the music. I was watching Risky Business for the first time a couple of months ago, and like so much Tangerine Dream music in that. It's like so fucking amazing. But yeah, that track in particular, if I play that, I am weeks away from moving to America. That's like the song of America to me. That's now. Awesome. It's so good. It's good shit. All right, it's been 2.5 hours. We should call this one. We've got some quick looks to record around these parts. I think. Oh no, you guys are doing yours tomorrow, aren't you?
Maybe after this,
or maybe after this. Okay,
we can do that.
We'll discuss it.
Okay, we'll discuss it. Loads of stuff hitting the channel. The Elden Ring Night Rain quick look went up last week. If you missed it, also we did one for Battlefront 2 because apparently it blew up. So Frank showed me how fun it is being an Ewok and being BB-8 and killing Darth Vader by rolling into him. We're also going to have 2 videos in Summer Games Fest. Frank is putting together his sort of like diary of a travel diary of hanging around and doing all the stuff. I'm going to be putting up a video with some of my highlights from the show, some of which I've talked about today on the pod as well. We're also going to have some more quick looks during the week. We're going to have one for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater demo and also for... what is your guys's? You're not doing Mario Kart.
No, we're doing the Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
That's what you're doing, the Welcome Tour. Good stuff.
We'll
I'm getting it for free. I'm sneaking into the museum in Jesse's backpack.
Yeah, enjoy. I'll bring you along for the world's worst museum tour.
We did a Borderlands review last month for the bonus pod. This month, Jeremy had the fantastic idea of watching the Minecraft.
No, this was Jeremy's idea. This was
very
Jeremy's great
against
idea.
this.
He came up with this, not me.
Was it Jesse?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. Jesse, you're to blame.
I was anti.
Jesse, you're to blame for my night last night.
Oh, did you watch it already?
I watched it already.
Oh,
so.
man. Thumbs up,
Have
thumbs
you guys
down?
watched it yet? Have you guys watched it yet?
Nope.
I thought you seemed scarred and
Yeah, you did seem a little
something
frustrated
did
at the
seem
start,
off with your mental health today, so I figured it was that.
So if you want to listen to that podcast, make sure you're signed up, patreon.com/noclip. You'll learn all about Chicken Jockey and so much more. Early access for the first part of our Everbloom series is up. So this is the series How Games Are Made, about how games are made. And each episode is about a different aspect of games. Jeremy and myself have been putting this one together for a few months. It's awesome to get the first one up and people seem to be really liking it. I think the way I'm going to do it, Jeremy, is because I almost have the second one finished. You obviously cut together all this stuff, did the lion's share of the editing. I've just been trimming them up and adding in some VO and bits and bobs. I have the second one almost ready, which is on, it's not doors, it's trees. So
that's a good one.
I might wait. We have the first one is up on sound. It's about sound. Exactly, Jesse. It's trees, babies. Yeah. Got some Snoop Dogg in there. So if there's a 20-minute episode all about sound design. If you want to watch that now, just join us on early access, and then we'll probably put that one live and have trees ready for early access people then. But we're not going to do them week after week like Dwarf Fortress. We've got 4 of these sort of in the can, and we're going to record 4 more of them later in the year with the developers from Torby working on Everbloom. And it's a different type of thing from us. It's diving deeper into one particular thing and getting a bit more technical with it as well. I think if you're interested in sort of the nuts and bolts of how games are made broadly, this one strikes a good balance between being more technical, more detailed, but not like a tutorial, I guess, is kind of what I was aiming for. So go check that out as well. And then loads more stuff coming. We will have dates for everything else. Actually, we almost the whole year schedule is in place now, and a lot of stuff's in post-production. So I'm gonna start having dates for that stuff too. And keep your eye on Noclip Crew, which you can go to by going to youtube.com/secrettape. So
what's that about?
Wander over there, and in the next few weeks we should have some updates on that by the end of the month. Like I said, starting this whole thing 3 weeks while my parents were here for 3 weeks, and then I'm going on a road trip with my family. Not the best idea, but that's all coming to an end pretty soon. So
we're stress testing it, right out the gate.
Exactly.
It'll be smooth sailing after this.
Exactly.
Nobody clip that.
Industry's doing
Don't clip
great.
that.
Exactly. All right, that's a podcast, everyone. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.